What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining us right here on Tuesday night. It is Tuesday Night Titans episode 135 for your Tuesday, February 17th, 2026. I'm your host, JD from New York, as always, coming to you live tonight with the one and the only, and I can tell you right now, the man who's not in the box, Solomonster. What's going on, brother?
No, I'm not in a box. I've been in boxes before, but no, I am not in that box that you saw on TV last night.
Now, we're going to talk about who's in the box, man. There's a lot of rampant speculation going on out there.
I think YouTube is in the box because apparently there's some YouTube issues going on here tonight.
There is YouTube issues, guys. Some of you actually have the website working. It's working for us. We obviously went live. Some of you not so lucky. But keep refreshing, and we had no other choice but to go live tonight. So apparently there's an outage on YouTube, Instagram. I know my Twitter was down at one point or another this weekend, so I don't know what's going on. Bear with us. We are live, and if you can't catch the show while we're live, obviously it'll be on demand after the show is over. But for those that are here, we thank you for joining us. And before we get into any of the festivities tonight, I got to shout out our guy here because... you know, Havili shows up, and he orders the most expensive drink on the menu, always. Havili comes in with $300 in Super Chat from Brisbane, Australia, and he leaves us two messages. What's up, JD and Solomonster? Shout out from Brisbane, Australia. He immediately asks, thoughts on Bubba, I'm assuming this is Bully Ray, saying that he doesn't think WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia may be 2 nights. If WWE also had some balls, what the most likely match for WrestleMania 42 would be is Cody versus Randy, Usos versus Lucha Brothers, and Gunther versus Ilya Dragunov. He also says favorite Motorhead WWE theme song, The Game, King of Kings, or Evolution Line in the Sand. Thoughts also on Elias saying that he was supposed to face The Undertaker instead of Goldberg. If Chyna didn't get injured, would she have become the first woman to win the WWE Championship? So
that's a lot that you just laid on me.
Listen, bro, it's Havili. You know, he comes in hot all the time. We'll start with the first thing he mentioned. Bully Ray said on Busted Open, I'm assuming that he doesn't think WrestleMania is going to be 2 nights in Saudi Arabia. I don't think that's what they are paying for. They are very much paying for 2 nights.
Yes. Whatever they are paying for, and I'm sure they are paying premium dollar for WrestleMania next year. They're not paying for half of WrestleMania.
No, they're not. They're not getting half of WrestleMania.
No.
If WWE had some balls, your matches would be Cody versus Randy, Usos versus Lucha Brothers, Gunther versus Dragunov. Listen, that actually sounds better than what we are getting so far on television. So if the booking duties were in your control, I would very much like that. But I will say this, Havili, I don't know how Jason feels about it. We still could get Randy in the main event picture. We still could be there.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, we had a little segment on Friday with Aleister Black, who was still talking about Randy Orton. And the question, I guess, there is, are we looking at a match between them? Or is Aleister Black, has he basically taken the Karrion Kross gimmick and is trying to stir things up with some of the characters on the show to where, you know, he's kind of gassing Randy up heading into the chamber when it comes to Cody?
I'm going to say, first and foremost, that is not a WrestleMania match. That sounds like the opening of a Saturday night's main event. And that would be so beneath Randy Orton. I'm sorry. I love Aleister Black. I think that's not what Randy should be doing at WrestleMania. I don't know.
Hey, I was at a WrestleMania where Randy Orton wrestled Kane in the second match on the card. And I believe he lost.
And
so
I'm sorry to hear that.
It has been worse for Randy Orton.
Okay. Havili also says favorite Motorhead WWE theme, The Game, King of Kings, or my favorite, Line in the Sand. I don't think anything's better than Line in the Sand.
The Game, number 1, Line in the Sand, number 2, and then King of Kings, number 3.
And then apparently, I didn't know that he said this. Elias saying that he was supposed to wrestle The Undertaker instead of Goldberg. Did you hear about that?
When did he wrestle Goldberg? What? Did I miss something here?
Elias saying that he was supposed to face The Undertaker instead of Goldberg. I don't know. Maybe he's talking about The Undertaker facing Goldberg and it was supposed to be Elias instead. I don't know.
In Saudi? I don't think that the Saudis would have preferred Elias and Goldberg over the Undertaker and Goldberg.
Well, maybe they could have, thought something else about Elias, but he does look like Randy Savage, kind of, no?
Well, you got to put like one of those big funny hats on his head. Except Savage never came out with a guitar.
No.
That's a little different.
And Chyna, if she didn't get injured, would she have become the first WWE woman to win the championship, the WWE championship? No.
Okay,
there you go. Thank you, Havili. We love you, man. Thank you for showing up big tonight. And I love that energy. If you guys want to get in on that, super chats are open. We always hang out at the end of the show. Questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, opinions, jokes, what have you. Super chats are at the end of the show, so we'll leave them open as always. If you guys want to go follow Jason on social media and on YouTube, everything you need for him is linked down below. Hearing some really good things about the Uncrowned show that Jason debuted on the Ariel Helwani Network last week, so congratulations again to him. I listened on my way to Target and Stop and Shop last week, and I thought it was a great listen.
Well, I appreciate that. And the new episode, by the way, is up. Just went up a little while ago. So when you're done here, whether it's tonight or tomorrow, you're doing stuff during the day, it's an easy listen. This week's episode is longer than last week's episode because there was a lot more to get into. And, covered the big stories and some stories that I didn't even talk about on the Sound Off this week. And then took some Q&A. So you get a little bit of everything. Again, it's up on Ariel's channel. There were some people who were confused and they were like, I don't see it on your channel. So it's not on my channel. It's on the Ariel Helwani Show channel. So wherever, because there's a whole bunch of shows on there, including his own. That is where you can find it. And yes, Uncrowned Wrestling Show, episode 2, now up.
There you go. Going to be a big week. Friday, there is House of Glory at the NYC Arena on February 20th. MJF, the AEW World Champion, coming on into Wrestle Zilla Fatu after a scathing promo from MJF on social media. Jason will not be live on Friday, and I will not be live on Friday either. Make your own assumptions of where I may be. I don't know yet. So that's going to happen on Friday. I would urge you guys to buy the show on Triller TV Plus. Going to be a great, great show. And we got some surprises there for you. And also, make sure you guys go and hit that subscribe button on this channel. We are about, I would say, 250 away from 175. So if you guys want to do that for me, I would really appreciate it. The winter has been very long and very cold. And for us content creators, it's a little difficult in the winter to grow out here, especially with the shows being so fucking terrible. So thank you guys for that. Jason, quick thoughts on Dude Wipes being the new sponsor for WWE. Kind of goes hand in hand, right?
Well, I mean, I can think of some things that are full of shit. So yes, I think it's actually a match made in heaven.
There you go.
And I haven't used them myself. I can't vouch for them. I can't speak to the...
I have. They're not all they're cracked up to be. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah. I don't know how you guys feel, but I'm not a Dude Wipes guy. So we'll see. We'll
see how they integrate this into the product. I mean, I'm sure they're going to be hyping the crap out of it. No pun intended. So we'll see what that looks like on TV.
I don't know. You think you think we'll get a holy shit chant and maybe an advertisement soon to follow with Dude Wipes? That'd be pretty cool,
I don't think they should be muting those chants anymore. Honestly, if they kind of work them into the sponsorship, then they shouldn't be muted on TV.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, again, thank you for joining us. We're going to get things started here, as always, with the man. What do you want to talk about, bro?
Well, why don't we start on the AEW front? Because they had a little show this past weekend, Down Under. So why don't we start there?
They did. AEW Grand Slam Australia. They were in Sydney, Australia, and they were in Brisbane. And I heard some good things about this show. I heard some not so good things about this show as far as fan experience. But all in all, on Saturday night, the 14th, we got some decent pro wrestling. And I know you mentioned it, Jason. I like the comparison that you made. It's almost like their version of Saturday night's main event. Obviously not with the long-standing history that comes with Saturday night's main event. This is what I was thinking to myself while watching some of the show. I didn't watch all of it because there was just real no storyline progression there, but I know exactly what happened and what came out of it. I feel like this is what the Battle of the Belts show should have been. And I don't really get a sense that, they those shows are even coming back, period. I think they were a complete waste of time.
Well, they shouldn't. Yeah, I mean, there's no point.
Yeah, but that's what I feel those shows should have been, what we got on Saturday.
Well, I mean, they would be more important because we probably had more title matches on this show than we had on the actual Battle of the Belt specials.
Yes.
I mean, that was my biggest gripe with them. You call them Battle of the Belts, and they would have one, maybe two title matches, but they weren't. They didn't really promote them as being like a must-see big deal. The matches themselves, they felt like, collision matches or what used to be Rampage matches.
Yeah.
It felt like we are obligated to do this, and so here you go. And there was really nothing of any note, certainly not storyline-wise, that ever happened on those shows. So I don't see the purpose in doing them. Obviously, if they're contracted to them, then they have to. But when was the last one that they even had? I don't even remember. It's been a while.
Yeah, I can't even tell you.
I think with the renewal, I think those were ixnayed.
Yeah, good for them. That was not a good viewing experience from my end of things, but Grand Slam was very good, and we got some pretty big time matches. This was a big time kind of feel pay-per-view level card, and a lot of it storyline wise going in was decent. And I mentioned I was on Jonathan Coachman's show this past week, and I said, because we talked about AEW, I said one of the most interesting things that AEW is currently doing right now, they shifted gears, and a lot of people were so big on the Okada and Takeshita front and the hopes of that maybe materializing into something more. They've cooled that off for whatever reason. But I feel like with the world title picture, you got a lot of big names there. Will Ospreay's on his way back. MJF is one of the best heels in the business, and you got a lot of great baby faces coming at him. They aren't overcomplicating things, Jason, with the world title picture on Dynamite, and I feel like they are approaching it in a very simple way. A lot of baby faces want the same thing. They want to go through each other and beat each other to get to the man and get to the world championship. They're not making anything too confusing. They're not overcomplicating things, like I said. It's just very straightforward stuff, and I do feel like the fans and the viewing audience is actually kind of gravitating towards that simplicity of the world title picture.
Well, I think MJF mentioned it when he was on Chris Van Vliet's show, that if I mean, he would know because I'm sure he's paying attention closely to this kind of stuff when you're the champion. But in terms of some of the attendance and the gates at the events and then the television ratings, they are up now from what they had been. So that coincides with him getting the title back and all of this competition in the world title picture. So I'm sure that's not a coincidence. It's very simple. It's simple storytelling. You have this heel champion who's easily despised, right? I mean, he has very few redeeming qualities whatsoever. And you have some strong baby faces who are chasing after him and they want the championship. And even some faces that maybe you wouldn't have expected, like Bandito and Brody King. So you can map out the rest of the year if you want to. I don't know how long MJF's reign will last, but you can map out probably through the end of this year. And he will have no shortage of people to challenge him for that championship. And so it's not really a big surprise to me. It's probably the strongest part of the show outside of the in-ring wrestling itself. It's the strongest part of the television shows, really, is the world title picture right now. I mean, what else would it be?
Nothing really. And I said with Jesse on Wednesday when we were talking about this, Darby's not even included in that group of talent because he's doing something with the War Dogs. And then Jay White's out. We mentioned Jay White. Yeah. And I'd love to see Jay White back. He's another big name. I said, imagine him on television where he'd be slotted into this. Another major name there. Will Ospreay's out. He's not even in the picture yet until he gets back, hopefully, middle of this year. So they're operating with a nice group of names, and they're only going to get stronger. So Tony should have a lot of good feelings that things are only going to get better for him,
And just because you mentioned it, we have to bring this up. First of all, I want to say, and I said this yesterday, but happy belated birthday to Jesse.
Yes.
Is he doing okay? Because I saw some video where he was suffering and he was in great pain with the hot sauce.
I did not view this Hot Ones challenge yet. I heard from a couple of people that DM me and said, check on your boy. He's not doing so well. And apparently he said on the stream last night as well that his soul was hurting, apparently.
He was struggling from what I saw. He was struggling. So I want to make sure he's still, maybe he's not in the crate and no longer with us.
Maybe he's in the box. I don't know.
It could be. They stuffed the body in the crate. It's possible. But yes, happy birthday to Jesse.
Yeah, happy birthday, Jesse. I'll see you tomorrow, man. So yeah, that's the world title picture in AEW. So we had Takeshita and Jon Moxley. This was for the Continental Championship, and this went 20 minutes. Now, A, why? B, I'm not surprised. And C, I don't know why Tony Khan, Jason, is more than likely going to run this match back again at Revolution when you have a nice 4-week stretch here that you could tell some nice story with Okada and Takeshita and maybe include Fletcher, depending on where they go with him. Instead, they're going right back to this because of a 20-minute time limit draw. And once again, for another pay-per-view, Takeshita and Okada are probably going to take a backseat. I don't understand that.
Well, I'll tell you what I think it is. First of all, we absolutely are going to get a rematch between these two. And Revolution would make the most sense for it because otherwise, what are you going to do? You're going to do it on TV one week? Excalibur made it a point on commentary towards the end of the match. He mentioned, by the way, on television, we have 20-minute time limits for these matches, but on pay-per-view, we have 60-minute time limit. And I said, interesting that he would mention that. So I think they're going to run it back at Revolution. And my fear is that the idea is to get the Continental title on Takeshita, which is fine, but maybe they're saving the Okada match for a very specific show. That show potentially being Wembley Stadium, because I could see where he's already got ideas for big matches that he wants to do on that show, right? He did Kenny and Okada in Texas last year. And maybe he's got eyes towards doing a unification match on that show between Takeshita and Okada and having Takeshita get his win back, but waiting until August when they get to All In and doing it there. Possible. I mean, look, you said it yourself, and I've noticed it too. They've really very much downplayed the whole Takeshita Okada thing ever since.
Well, it took them 4 weeks to mention the goddamn fork spot coming out of World's End.
It took a month. Yeah. So there may well be a reason for why they have slowed and gotten away from, really furthering the story between those two. I could absolutely see it playing out that way. Where they want this belt on Takeshita first, and then just at that point, really begin to build towards like a big title for title, champion versus champion match. And then Takeshita could win and he can, bring back the unified title and go on from there.
Yeah,
I hope. Look, and I'm not saying that wouldn't be a big match for that show, but that's a long time to continue to drag out and make us wait for that big payoff.
Well, yeah, my question to you was going to be, is that a dangerous game that Tony Khan's playing? Because I know he looks at All In, and it is the biggest show that they do all year, and it's going back to Wembley. And that match itself there is going to be, I think, a bigger deal than if he did it here in the States. I just feel like it's a dangerous game because we had the story and the tension between both of them kind of reached the next level, and then they scaled it back several steps back, and now you want to reignite it again. In what way? Because you're going to take this basically the spring and the summer off until we get to August to then tell that story when we get closer to July, August, going into the end of August. At that point, who's going to care outside of, it's going to be a great wrestling match? Like, I show up for the story. I would like for them to tell the aspect of the story because I always say, it's his company, he's going to do what he wants to do. When the story is great, the match is going to be greater. I don't think he really follows that blueprint.
It may well end up being great. I was enjoying the little teases and everything that we were getting last year. And so if they want to get away from it with the idea that, okay, Don Callis has things under control now, he's keeping the peace, and Okada has his title, and now Takeshita has a title. And like you said, we don't know how Fletcher may tie into that, right? Proto Shida, like he's kind of in the middle of all this. There are ways to tell that story and keep it interesting and then circle back around to the fact that, okay, these two guys, you know what? This ain't going to work. And, he doesn't like him and he doesn't like Takeshita. And then you build to the match. Like there are ways to do it. But again, it's a long time to wait and hope that the story is there to support such a long wait. But I also look back to last year. I think we were probably, my guess is, we were sitting here having a similar conversation a year ago at this time about Jon Moxley as the AEW champion and the idea that, oh my God, are we going to have to wait until All In? For him to lose the championship, that's a long ways off. And it was. And to be fair, when we got that main event on that show, what they did was great. Now, we had to suffer through a lot of really bad, fucking awful television to get there. I wasn't really a fan of that. But in the end, we did have the big payoff, and there was that story there at least. So it's possible. It's possible. But remember, All In is also a month later than it was last year. So,
yeah, I could absolutely see that taking place. And the unification of both of those belts would be basically the reverse of what they did at the Continental Classic. They split them up, and I don't really understand that. So we'll go back to the Unified Championship again if that's the case between Okada and Takeshita. But we'll talk about too many titles. Ricochet said something about fan criticism of the fact that AEW has too many championships. I still think that there is way too many championships, not in only AEW, but WWE. Period. But yes, that's the time limit draw there between Moxley and Takeshita. The ladies wrestled. Women's Tag Team Championships on the line. Babes of Wrath, Harley Cameron, and Willow Nightingale, who is also the TBS Women's Champion, against Megabad, Penelope Ford, and Megan Bayne. And we had the Babes of Wrath beat Megabad. The story of the match, though, Jason, was not the match itself, but we had Lena Cross debut for AEW, and apparently the news coming into this show, we talked about it last week, was that Tony Khan had a lot of people still not announced signed to AEW, so he's strategically rolling them out when he sees fit, and Lena Cross is one of them. Now, I know you and I called Lena and Megan Bayne at House of Glory a couple years ago, which was probably the best women's match of House of Glory, in my opinion, that year. That was a tremendous match. So that was one of the few times I actually saw her, but man, did she fucking impress that night.
Yeah, I mean, she went in there and they had a hard-hitting, just competitive battle, that night. And so I was very surprised that it took this long to see her on TV somewhere, because that was in the fall, I want to say, of 2024.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was a while ago. And so, look, I think she's a rock solid addition to that women's division. I just couldn't really understand why you would debut her after the match and have her just show up and assist in a beatdown on the Babes of Wrath, and not just have her debut in a way that results in them losing the titles to Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford, which I just think would have been more impactful. The only thing I can think of is they just wanted to give Harley a win in Australia because she got the winning fall. But to me, it would have carried more weight if her showing up resulted in new champions being crowned.
Yeah, listen, she's a powerhouse. I just don't trust the women's division to really make her into a big deal. But, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I said the same thing about Tekla. And I think Tekla is one of the best things on television for their women's division. So it may take a little bit of time for her to get there. But if they take the same steps that they took with Tekla and let her kind of marinate, give her some time on TV, let her see her personality and what she brings to the table, I think that's going to be a great signing, like you said. So hopefully they got a plan for her. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I did not look at the majority of the results for the House Rules show the following day. Did the Babes of Wrath lose the tag team championship the following day?
No.
I thought there was a title change. No, I could have swore there was a title change.
I mean, that would be news to me.
Yeah, maybe I misread it, but I thought that was.
You have me questioning. You have me questioning myself. No.
Okay.
No, they still have the title.
Okay. Maybe there was like a false finish or something, and they kind of restarted. I don't know. Someone said something.
Yeah, no, maybe. I mean, the title changes, as it turned out, we had on Wednesday and not Saturday.
Yeah. All right, we'll see what happens there. We got some new additions to the women's division in Lena Cross. We'll see what happens with her. Andrade, he went one-on-one with Hangman Adam Page. This is the winner of this gets MJF at Revolution. Now, the most shocking thing about it is, Jason, not the fact that these two guys were wrestling and Hangman won. I watched this and I said, for the first time in a long time on an AEW show, when it came to the pro wrestling, that's it? They only went like less than 14 minutes.
Yep.
So I was like, man, I could have watched another 10 minutes by these guys and it would have been, great. But if this was on Revolution or a major pay-per-view, they probably would have been given 30 minutes to go out there and just do what they got to do. But 13 minutes, I think everybody kind of felt like Adam Page was going to win it. You mentioned last week that Page owns a few wins over MJF, so MJF and Page more than likely would have made sense for the pay-per-view because MJF's got to get his win back. But man, I'll tell you, Andrade, we talked about this again last week as well. He's operating, you said, in final form. I think he looks tremendous. He is going to be at the Hog Show on Friday against Mason. He's just doing everything right, and I would have loved to see him win this. I knew it was a long shot, but MJF and Andrade is still a very intriguing match to me if they want to do it down the line.
Yeah, I mean, again, it was the right outcome. I mean, I think an Andrade MJF match at Revolution would have been great, but we talk about story. The story is with Hangman and MJF. I mean, that really is where the story is. And it's two matches. It's two wins that he has over MJF kind of hanging over his head from last year. And then what happened a few weeks ago when he was distracted and then he got embarrassed by Brody King. So it seemed pretty clear to me that was the direction they were going in. To me, I look at this and I say, okay, they're going back. I know Tony Khan has said he wants to go back to Arena Mexico and do Grand Slam Mexico again in June. To me, that's a much better place to do Andrade and MJF for the world title.
I like that. That's actually fucking awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I think the atmosphere there, he could be just full on babyface walking in there, whether he's still part of the Callis family or not. To me, I suspect MJF will still be the champion at that point. To me, that's the perfect place to do it.
I like it. I like the way you think. So MJF and Hangman at the pay-per-view for the AEW World Championship that's coming up in Los Angeles in about a month's time. Orange Cassidy and Timeless Tony Storm versus Wheeler Yuta and Marina Shafir. I think this one was pretty self-explanatory coming on in. Cassidy and Storm got the win, and Wheeler Yuta was the one who got his head shaved, and he is, I don't know if he's bald or will be bald, but whatever was on his face and head is gone.
Well, on the Brisbane house show the next day, he was wearing a beanie to cover his head. So I don't know if that'll be the gimmick now. Like when Kurt Angle got his head shaved, yes, and then he was wearing the headgear with the fake wig. Maybe they'll do something like that.
Mark Briscoe, Kyle Fletcher. This was the TNT title match, ladder match. A, I think both guys are great. B, I'm still kind of salty that they took the belt off Tommaso Ciampa so soon after 2 weeks, and I'm very concerned that they did it for reasons and they're not going to cycle back to him. I hope I'm wrong there. I think Ciampa is so much better off than a 2-week title reign coming on in. But as far as the match, Jason, I think we kind of figured that Fletcher was going to go in after beating Ciampa. He wanted the hometown reception. He was going to walk out still the champion. It was a fine match. They went about 13 minutes or so on television. They retained the TNT championship, but man, I felt like taking the belt off Ciampa and not doing a triple threat match. And then if you wanted Fletcher to win here, at least have Ciampa come on in as the champion. But I honestly feel one of the biggest mistakes AEW's made all year is putting that belt on Ciampa and then taking it off him 2 weeks later. I thought that was awful.
Yeah, I mean, I was scratching my head over that one. I mean, it's too soon to say that it was the worst decision they've made. I mean, we'll see. If Ciampa's not on the show this week, then that's a terrible sign. My hope is, and I think you would agree, Ciampa is at his best as a heel.
Yes.
And, look, he came in as the psycho killer, right? Let's see if we get more of that psycho killer, then that'll be a good thing. But you've got to have some sort of follow-up. I thought maybe he would show up and be involved in the ladder match in some way. He wasn't there. So now we wait until tomorrow. I mean, tomorrow's going to tell the tale. And if he's not on Dynamite, then that's a terrible sign. He really needs to be on that show.
Yeah, I listen. I don't know if Tony's going to push him as a main event guy. Probably not.
No, and here's the thing. Like, at least I'm not saying he has to be a main event guy. They have a lot of main event guys already. Brody King just got a main event match on Saturday. We're talking about Andrade. Like, he absolutely could be a main event guy in this company. And that's to say nothing of the actual main event guys right now, whether it's Swerve, Hangman, Ospreay will be back, Omega, on and on and on, right? Right now, there's no room for him there. He doesn't have to be there to be considered a success. He just has to be in the mix. He has to be on television consistently, get him in some sort of feud or some sort of story with somebody. And that's really the most important thing. So I don't want to make it sound like, well, he's not going to be the world champion, so he's a failure. When he signed with them and I knew he was coming in, like, I never once in my head thought, oh, okay, well, he's got to win the world title. Now, I did feel like if he went to TNA, him and Santana, I mean, they could have tore it up, for the TNA world title, but the TNA roster is not quite as large as the AEW roster is. So I have no illusions about him being a main eventer right now, and he doesn't have to be successful. Just get him something consistently.
Yeah, the thing is, he doesn't have to be, but if you want him to be and need him to be, he can certainly do that.
You got to build him up, though.
Yeah.
You got to build him up. I mean, he hasn't been portrayed that way in quite some time, and I think he could work his way up. and again, feud with some people, rack up some wins, maybe win back the TNT title or one of the other many, many championships they have. And then eventually, hey, maybe a year from now, we're talking about him being in that mix. But right now, it doesn't need to be that way.
So, yeah, Fletcher is the TNT champion coming out of Grand Slam. They gave him a new pretty pink TNT championship. So there are themed TNT titles for the various champions that have held the belt. Briscoe had a very camouflage, army-like title. Fletcher has a TNT title that's pink now. And I don't know. I quite like the pink. What do you think of the pink?
I didn't really get a great look at it. I mean, it's fine. I would imagine if Bret Hart was coming up right now, his title might be pink. Little hearts on it.
Got to sell those titles, man.
That's it.
Brody King, speaking of titles, the big one. Brody King and MJF for the AEW World Championship. We talked about this last week. I felt like, on my end anyway, I felt like they could have done things differently instead of beating their champion in 30 seconds. But MJF is bulletproof. I mean, if someone's going to beat him, Brody is a believable opponent. MJF really doesn't suffer much from it. I just personally don't like my world champion being kind of geeked out by an interference because someone's theme music hit and he comes on out and then boom, 1, 2, 3, it's over. But MJF beat Brody King. Very predictable here. 19 minutes or so. They went in the main event, retained the world championship. And I always thought that these two work very well together, Jason. I don't know how you feel about the actual in-ring here. I thought it was very good. And the one thing that I really have a criticism about with most of this show and a lot of AEW programming in general is the fact that, there's very little story. There wasn't really much story coming out of it. I'm hoping that Tony Khan on Wednesday now begins finally the build for Revolution because a lot of the build was kind of building up to this show. And I feel like a lot of the stuff that we're watching is very predictable, which is my number one problem with a lot of what we're seeing, not only in AEW, but WWE. You could watch these shows fucking with no sound and blind and probably still figure out what's going on. I don't like predictable wrestling. I feel like it's a huge buzzkill when you actually sit down and want to enjoy these shows to their fullest extent.
Yeah, I mean, the Revolution build is going to start tomorrow. They're having a face-to-face with MJF and with Hangman. We have Kenny Omega and Swerve, which I'm looking forward to. And we'll see, I guess. We still don't know if Kenny's even going to be on the Revolution card or not. So, I don't know. In that match, are you expecting a winner? I'm not expecting a winner in that match.
Between Swerve and Omega?
Yeah, tomorrow.
Well, they just did a time limit draw here. They do another time limit draw tomorrow? Or you go to countdown?
I'm not even saying time limit draw per se. I mean, you could always have some other wonky finish of some kind. But it's just hard for me to envision Swerve just going in there and beating him or Kenny just going in there and beating him, especially after they both lost to Andrade on TV.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's a good question.
Like if we knew Kenny was going to be available for Revolution, I would say we don't get a real finish here, and then they build to like a number one contenders match at Revolution, and then the winner goes on to Dynasty.
Yeah, that's what I would hope for. If that's the case, and Omega is really going to be at Revolution, sure, I would probably go with a non-finish on Wednesday. But if there is no non-finish, and Omega is not making the pay-per-view in 4 weeks because he's going to play Street Fighter in Japan, I don't know. I go Swerve. I feel like he's kind of cooled off a little bit. I feel like the story would be Omega and him kind of battling from behind and having a very difficult time getting wins, and then he starts getting wins and he starts to like kind of level up, and then we do the match at Double or Nothing between him and MJF.
Yeah, I mean, if he's not going to be there, Swerve would probably be next in the line for the shot, so that would make sense for him to go over in that situation.
Yeah.
But it all comes down to whether or not he's going to be on that pay-per-view, which I would hope they could work something out because I feel like he should be in a big match on that show, but if not, then Swerve winning would make sense.
Well, we did talk about it last week as well. They basically have that show sold out. So if they don't want to do that match there or Omega be at that show, I don't think they really need him because they already have most of the tickets out the door. And like you said, Swerve and MJF is a perfect main event for Dynasty because I've said it, and I know you said it as well. That show is Swerve's show. I feel like that's his show, so doing that match there would be probably the best place to do it. Mm-hmm. So that is Grand Slam, MJF and Brody. 19 minutes, MJF retains the championship. So we will see how they begin the build to Revolution, which is, in my opinion, their second biggest show of the year. So Revolution usually is very, very good. So we got some news coming out of AEW, we got the Inspiration signed to AEW, a multi-year deal coming over from TNA. Now, the last time we saw them, they wrestled on January 19th against the Elegance brand in what was not a very good pro wrestling match. I'll leave it at that. But they debuted, Jason, on the House Rules show the very next night following Grand Slam. They had been TNA Knockouts and TNA Knockout champions up until a month ago, dropping the titles, like I said, to the Elegance brand. Fightful Select reports at the time that the team was finishing up with TNA. Their contracts had actually been up around Bound for Glory, but they've been working without deals ever since. Fightful's told that their TNA departure was very amicable. Sources in WWE we spoke to believe that if they weren't at the Royal Rumble, then they would be AEW bound. A few weeks ago, Fightful Select reported that there were additions to be made to the AEW's women's roster. Since then, Lena Cross and the Inspiration have been confirmed as signed. So they are in. I put out a very funny GIF in regards to this news the following day. I'm not really a fan as far as what they bring to the table. I know you may feel differently. I don't think they go along with the "this is where the best wrestle" tagline that AEW likes to shill every week. I don't know.
They bring variety to the division, you know. And the way I look at it is this: do they need the Inspiration? No, they don't need the Inspiration. But they have a women's tag team division now, and they are a women's tag team. And if nothing else, what I could see them doing is being used in a way to help elevate other women and other teams in the division. I'm not saying they're just going to be used to just put people over and nothing else, but maybe they end up in that role, you know, where other teams work with them and then they beat them and then they move on to whatever they move on to. So you got a women's tag team division, right? They want to beef up the tag team division. Now you got a tag team.
So they are in. Don't know when we'll see them next, but they are the newest additions to the AEW women's division. Speaking of tag teams, happy to see these guys back. Private Party came back on Wednesday, and they were placed in a number one contender tag team championship match on Dynamite, which they did not win. It was revealed as the mystery team on Dynamite. There was news coming out of last week's Dynamite from Fightful Select. Private Party are still, clearly, with AEW. A new report indicates from Fightful and Sean Ross Sapp that Orange Cassidy, Isaiah Cassidy, sorry, and Mark
Orange's long lost brother, for those who don't know.
Yes, Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn, who looks like he's been getting to work. Our guy Quinn, he looks fucking great. He looks beefed up, and he's looking great out there. They remain firmly under AEW contract, putting to rest speculation about their future. Now, there was a rumor that they could be WWE bound. That never really materialized into anything. Last year, there was a report with WWE being interested in Private Party, but the report was that their contracts would be expiring at different times. Now, I know Quinn was out, so he probably got time added to his deal where Cassidy didn't. So they are still with AEW right now, probably riding out the rest of their deals. We do not know if they signed new deals. So they were backstage. They came out as the mystery team, and they lost. I was hoping that they would win. Anybody but Bucks and FTR again for the tag team championships. But sources have indicated to Fightful Select that Private Party will appear in AEW and will be with AEW before you would see them in WWE, reinforcing that they're still with the promotion. I feel like, and we'll talk about the awards, Jason. I know the Young Bucks are back to their, I would say their beginnings, their OG look, and I feel like Bandito and Brody, you know, with them being the champions last summer, I felt like the division was scorching white hot. There was just a competitive nature that they brought to the division that we haven't seen, honestly, since year one, year two of AEW, where they made tag team wrestling the focus, and they made it the focus, and you know it. So I feel like ever since they lost the tag team championships and the titles went to FTR, I feel like the whole division honestly has gone to shit. Like, some people don't even realize FTR are the tag team champions, and the division is ice cold now. I feel like if they start getting the division back to where it was, Private Party should be a part of that. And I hope that they do something differently and take them a little bit more seriously than the last time we saw them, because this was their first match since January of last year where they lost to the Hurts and they're getting out buried. And I use that in all capital letters. So hopefully things are a little bit different, man. But I don't really trust Tony Khan and what he's doing with Private Party. I have to see it to believe it.
Well, they also lost two of their teams. I mean, the Hurt Syndicate went down when Bobby Lashley got hurt. And Jurassic Express, their little reunion was derailed when Luchasaurus got hurt. So right there, that's two teams they lost. That didn't help. But yeah, it felt like, man, we're getting back to a place where we were in 2019, 2020 in terms of the tag teams. And they've gotten cold since then. I think that they could get it back to where it was. Here's one of the other issues I have also. You know, Jet Speed are 2/3 of the Trios champions, but I think they've talked about going after the tag team titles. And I have an issue with that because you've got the Trios titles. And we saw this also with Willow Nightingale, where she is the TBS champion, but she's also one half of the women's tag team champions. And it's something that I really wish they wouldn't do because they have such a large roster. And they have so many people, not enough people to really be in that title mix as it is. I really don't see the need to have someone like Hangman, and we're seeing it with him now. Hangman is going after the AEW World title in the main event of Revolution, but he's 1/3 of the Trios champions. Why? Why is he 1/3 of the Trios champions?
It's basically what they did with Samoa Joe. It's the same formula.
Yeah. And they keep doing this, and I really wish they would get away from that because there's so many other people who could be fighting for these titles and occupying these spots that you don't have to have multiple people at any one time holding, you know, two, three championships, whatever it is. So I wish they would get away from that. If Jet Speed wants to be, you know, in contention for the tag titles, great. But then they shouldn't be the Trios champs.
Yeah, but at what point do we get someone to tell Tony Khan, like, bro, enough is enough already? Like, how many championships do we need? Because me and Jesse have said this from day one. We love the idea of Trios championships. And we gave them the benefit of the doubt that the Trios championships were going to differentiate themselves away from the tag team titles. But instead, the Trios championships have done nothing but harm ever since they were introduced, the actual tag team division. And I feel like they don't really know where to put their focus. Sometimes it's on the trio, sometimes it's on the tag team. And then they just kind of go back and forth. And neither division gets the focus that it needs. So why do we need both sets of championships?
Well, I mean, they have a lot of trios in this company. That's really what it was born out of, because we do have a lot of those trios teams and stables. So, I mean, I get the desire to have trios titles, and he's also a big fan of old school championships. And I mean, that's kind of an old school thing. I get it. Is it necessary? No, it's really not. I'd rather they just focus, you know, most of their attention on getting those tag team titles in the tag team division back to what it used to be. Because at one time they had the best tag team division in all of wrestling. You know, and maybe by default right now they still do, because the WWE tag team division is dead.
Yeah, I would give it to AEW no matter what.
Yeah. Even a weakened, cold AEW tag team division is probably still the best tag team division in wrestling right now. But it could still be better. It could be stronger.
Yeah, a little bit more focused there. I agree wholeheartedly with the Trios championships. Hey, we're the Trios champions, but we also want to have the tag team titles. All right, so maybe you should give the Trios championships an actual Trios team and then worry about the tag team titles because you're a tag team. I don't know.
Well, you mean you're not a fan of Horsecock?
Is that their name, Horsecock?
It's their name. I think the name they went with was Jet Set Rodeo, but Mike Bailey is insistent that they call themselves Horsecock.
I don't want to know anything about that.
I don't know how he came to arrive at that name. I don't know if I want to know, but he's a big fan of it.
Listen, whatever he does in his own time, man, that's him. I don't know. Anyway, that's the news on Private Party. Happy to see those guys back. Dave Meltzer. Dave Meltzer had a bad week, which is par for the course with Dave over there. Apparently, Meltzer, he put his foot in his mouth this week, and he ended up debunking his own report on Warner Brothers Discovery and Brody King with the whole, why wasn't Brody King on Dynamite this past Wednesday? So Meltzer had stated on the Wrestling Observer that WBD had directed All Elite Wrestling to keep Brody King off of television in order to prevent a recurrence of the viral "fuck ice" chants that erupted during the previous week's broadcast in Las Vegas, which made headline news and basically took the spotlight over everything else on the show and what happened in their match with Brody and MJF. Meltzer's original reporting was this. The deal is they didn't want the fans in the arena to be chanting that. If Brody came out, there was a risk. When he comes back, it will happen again. I don't know how they're going to handle it. This is, again, not a Tony Khan call. This came from above. Came from above, Jason. Like the last report, it came from above.
From above.
I don't know who's above, but that's what Dave said. It came from above. You know what it is. Nobody wants to get on Donald Trump's bad side. So the report across social media was obviously met with a lot of blowback, fueled by the whole report that went out by Dave here, which was then followed up by Sapp and Andrew Zarian of the Matman podcast. Sapp put on X, the rumors that Brody King was kept off Dynamite by Warner Brothers Discovery were vehemently denied to me. Andrew Zarian said, I can piggyback on this. I reached out to WBD contacts, and they had not heard of anything regarding this. So the denials escalated further when Warner Brothers itself took the step of issuing a formal statement to Brandon Thurston of Post Wrestling, who shared the statement on X. And they said, Warner Brothers Discovery did not have any involvement in Brody King's upcoming AEW schedule. Any speculation to the contrary is categorically false. Brody is scheduled to appear, and did, at their next AEW event, which was Saturday at AEW Grand Slam Australia on TNT and HBO Max. So Thurston's report that AEW's own internal apparatus had aligned with WBD's denial, writing on X, an AEW official with direct knowledge of the subject affirmed Warner Brothers Discovery denial and indicated Meltzer's report is incorrect and that WBD statement is true. Meltzer then took to X to correct himself. Those at AEW have said nobody from WBD asked them not to use Brody King on last night's show, and this was just how it was booked, to only use him in a video package. We had heard over the weekend that there were concerns about how much publicity the situation had gotten from the WBD side. But those at AEW said that they were not told not to put him on the show. So this corrects the report from last night. It had been a topic of discussion over the weekend. End quote. So Meltzer corrected himself. I'll let you start, Jason. What did you make of this fucking clown show on social media with regards to this?
I mean, kind of summed it up right there. I mean, the whole thing was a clown show. I mean, it's one thing because I listened to the audio because that came from Observer Radio. And, you know, sometimes you read a quote or, you know, something in text form, or like even if you text somebody, you know what I mean? Like, you don't know if they're going to read that text in the way that you mean for it to be read, right? Is it meant to be humorous? Is it meant to be serious? Context is important. So this was not a situation where he was kind of throwing it out there like, oh, this could be what happened, or I think this might be what happened. Like, he was talking about it and reporting on it as if, you know, he had firsthand knowledge that, hey, this is why. And so it spread, and it got to a point where, now how often does Warner Brothers Discovery ever respond to anything AEW related, right? There's all kinds of rumors and reports, and we never hear from an actual spokesperson from WBD, and they had to chime in on this, and they had this vehement denial and said that this is categorically false. It's just not true. And obviously other people said that as well. Look, when I was watching the show, I don't know if you even thought about this, but when I was watching the show last week, they had that video package. They had a promo in the back with Hangman. They had Andrade did a promo in the back. And I'm like, okay, they must not be there because they're probably flying or they're already down in Australia for the show. Like, it was not even a thought in my head like, oh, Brody's not on the show. I wonder why.
Well, it's not even that, bro. I feel like even if Brody was to be on the show live, like, why did they need him? What else could be done to sell the match? The match is already sold.
Yeah, no, nothing. That's why they had the video package. The video package was sufficient unless you want to do a contract sign.
Even if he was in the building, why have him on TV anyway? Just do the video package, which is probably the decision I would have made personally.
Yeah, so I mean, in watching the show live, I thought nothing of it. Until Meltzer said this, and then it spread like wildfire, and then all the denials came out, and it actually blew it up into a much bigger story than it would have been otherwise. So the whole thing was just ridiculous, and like, people make mistakes. He's certainly made mistakes before for which he's had to apologize and stuff. I mean, you could go down a whole list of examples of it. There have been some embarrassing ones. I think one of the more embarrassing ones, and I don't remember if it was last year or the year before, he had been getting information for about a year from someone who he thought worked in the Dragon Gate office in Japan. And as it turned, and he was reporting on it in the newsletter weekly for about a year, only to find out that it was a hoax. So, I mean, now he came out once he realized it and he apologized, but Jesus Christ, I mean, a fucking year. He's reporting on this information from this one promotion over there, and it was completely illegitimate. So, I mean, there have been some examples of this. I look, he's been doing this for a very long time. His words carry weight. And so when he says something, for all the people that like to make fun of him and don't like him or whatever, shit on him, boy, people still lap up all that news from the Observer every single week, and it gets aggregated on every single website, and there's stuff he gets wrong and there's stuff he gets right. But you gotta do better in a situation like that, because you see what can happen, and then it spreads, and who's to say it doesn't have a negative impact on that person's career? It could have a positive impact, it could have a negative impact. You gotta be careful, when it comes to stuff like that. It's very embarrassing.
Well, it is embarrassing. The part that I didn't understand is why Meltzer. And listen, we all I have a tendency to do it, but I feel confident in my opinion. I'm not a fucking journalist, but Meltzer is still the name that everybody aggregates the most. Every single account on Twitter, you see WON in a tweet, and people just spread his shit as if it's legit news. And sometimes, like you said, people don't take the full radio show in, and they cherry pick what they want. They don't listen. They don't listen in full context. So we don't know if Meltzer's speaking in absolutes or he's speaking in just fucking opinions. We don't know. But the part that got me was, why did he go out there and say one thing? Was he saying something in regards to the situation as a way to kind of take the heat off Tony Khan? Or was he trying to defend Tony Khan?
No.
But I mean, if he knew what was going on, all he needed to do was call Tony Khan to find out what was going on. I'm sure he would report it. So I don't it's very difficult for me to take these guys. The point I'm trying to make is it's very difficult for me to take these guys and what they say as truthful, because I feel like everybody's in business with each other, and I feel like after the whole Rascal situation, I don't really believe Meltzer or the Observer or any of the dirt sheets, quite honestly, because I feel like someone eventually is going to end up lying.
In this case, I don't know if it's a matter of him assuming something or if he was given bad information. But you would think that somebody in his position would have those connections, that even just a text, whether it's Tony directly or somebody at AEW, and say, hey, is this true? This is what I'm hearing. Is this true? And I don't know that he did that. I mean, maybe he did. I don't know, but it doesn't seem that way. And so he just kind of ran with it. And there were all these denials, and they said, no, he's in transit on his way to Australia, and he wasn't going to be on the show regardless. And then we see what the end result of that was. But, again, you would think someone in his position would have the means to just pick up his phone and call or text somebody, and in 5 minutes, confirm or deny it before speaking about it so matter-of-factly, because you can see what happens in this situation when it ends up not being true.
Yeah, the fact that Warner Brothers came out and said categorically false, and the fact that they didn't pull Brody at all, it just really makes you question who's telling the truth and who's lying here. So,
well, even the fact you didn't see the show, but before the main event on Saturday, there were chants.
Yes,
in Australia.
I heard it.
Yeah, there were chants, and they weren't edited off the show, which would have been very easy for them to do, because that show was airing on a 14-hour tape delay.
Yeah.
And they left them in. So if it was that big of an issue, then they wouldn't have been on the show. Now look, and I mentioned this when I talked about this, if you look at the schedule that they have coming up, it's not like this is going to suddenly go away. I mean, they're going to be in California every single week, I think, until Revolution.
Oh, Jesus
And then Revolution's
Christ.
in LA.
Jesus.
And then at the end of March, they're in St. Paul, Minnesota, for Dynamite. So, I mean...
Oh, yeah, forget about it. Right, he's not even going to be on television for the next 2 months.
Now, if Brody King all of a sudden takes a convenient sabbatical, then we'll know, okay, something's going on here. But, I'm sure he's going to be on those... He's not going to be on the show tomorrow, apparently. Because there was a video on social media after he lost backstage. He goes, I'm not giving up. I'm getting back in the world title mix. I'm going to get back in contention February 25th. I don't know where they are that night. California probably, but That's next week's show. So I don't think he's supposed to be on the show tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, you look at the calendar, like this is not going to go away. So if you continue to hear it and it's not being edited or muted or anything like that, then it's not an issue for Warner Brothers Discovery.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. How do you feel if you're in Tony Khan's shoes that you're hearing these chants and they're very political? And I feel like, me personally, this has nothing to do with anybody else. I said this on my end. I just feel like everything we do, everything we kind of take in, the things that we love, everywhere we go and read and look, everything's about politics or has got some political narrative behind it. I'm like, bro, I just want to watch a television show or play a video game and not have somebody else's, like, you know, beliefs and political views attached to anything. Just we want to escape through what we want to escape in. And pro wrestling, I feel, is very much that. You know, one of the great things about Tony Khan, from what we see, is he allows his wrestlers to go out there and be them and gives them the freedom to do things that they might not be able to do in a larger promotion. But in this case, I feel like he's walking a very dangerous line. Does he keep Brody on television now, knowing exactly what he's going to get? Because the fans, you tell them not to do something, they're going to do it 1,000 times harder. So what happens here to Brody? Is his career in jeopardy? Is Tony going to be okay with it? I know we both talked about the fact that Warner Brothers is in this Netflix merger acquisition, and you know a lot of it maybe hinders on the administration in office right now and government to okay it. You know, there's a lot of gray areas here, a lot of stuff that if I'm Tony Khan, I don't really want to kind of fuck with. So what does he do with Brody now? Because I feel like he's just going to be a liability and a risk if you put him on television, and things just ultimately are going to get worse.
No, I mean, what you do with Brody is you book him like you would always book him. Fans are going to do what the fans are going to do. And look, he gives his talent the freedom to express themselves. And so long as he does that, then Brody King is entitled to go out there. And if he wants to, if there's a shirt he wants to wear, or if the fans want a chance, it's not like he was, coming out trying to, like when Jim Duggan would come out and he would, stomp his feet and go, USA and get the crowd behind him. Like, yeah, he wasn't doing that. The fans saw Brody. They follow him on social media. They know enough about him to know, the things he's passionate about. And they start chanting it. And there's nothing you can do about it. You're not going to silence the fans. So what do you do with Brody King? You put Brody King on TV. You're not going to punish Brody King for that, because if you start doing that, now you're opening a Pandora's box.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that. That's actually going to make things worse. Because let's be honest, if he does that, it's not like the fans aren't going to catch on, or it's not going to get reported. And Tony has built up a certain goodwill with his audience. He's not going to want to squander that. So I don't think he does anything other than just continue to book Brody King on his television show. And the fans are going to do what the fans are going to do. And if somebody at Warner Brothers Discovery gets a bee in their bonnet, then, I'm sure they'll let Tony Khan know. And then they won't have as much freedom to go out on TV and express themselves as they do right now. But until that happens, you don't do anything differently. You just stay the course and keep doing what you're doing.
We'll see how Tony handles Brody King. I do feel like he should be in the mix for a world championship. I think it's been long enough. He's been there since the very beginning. Fans obviously take to him.
He lost.
Yeah. Well, he's got to work his way back there. It could be a good story.
Right.
We'll see how Tony Khan works Brody back into the world title picture, if at all. But that was the news coming out of the Observer. We do have some categories to kind of poke fun at and go over with the Wrestling Observer Awards. We'll save that for the end of the show. But keeping with the AEW theme here, Ricochet last week was talking about how he felt WWE kills the passion for the love of the sport and killed his legacy. This week, he responds to criticism that AEW has too many championships. So Ricochet himself won a gauntlet match at Full Gear. And he won the national championship, the international championship. Same thing. Sentiment in the company that the company has too many titles is echoed by a lot of fans. Ricochet pointed to the depth of the roster when talking about this particular topic. Yeah, I think especially when you have a roster as deep as AEW, it's like everybody could be champion at any point. You know what I mean? That's men, women, that's everybody across the board. You honor everything. At the end of the day, say what you want. We're all prize fighters. We're fighting for a prize. You're fighting for something. So I think adding another prize to the pot is only good for the fighters, giving them something to fight for, especially when you have so many guys from the bottom to the top. Everybody is so good. And then he acknowledged the fan perspective, but emphasized the opportunity the title provides. He also noted the responsibility of being the first holder of the national championship in AEW. I do understand what people are saying, but at the same time, when the roster is that deep and everybody could be a champion at any time, I think it's okay. But there absolutely is pressure with the new title being the first champion to make it mean something and to make its legacy mean something, especially with the pool of other championships that are out there to be fought over, he explained. So, you know, I felt like just by reading that, he gave a good answer. But, you know, the one thing that kind of sits on the top of my brain, Jason, is the fact that if you feel like the other titles become less important when everybody has one. You know, I know he's not going to go out there and say that because he's going to defend the company he works for, but I feel like there are way too many titles, and most of the titles, especially in the middle of the show, the TNT title, the international title, the continental title, the unified title, all these different titles, they don't really mean anything. Like, there's no level of prestige or importance to them because they haven't really given anything to make those titles special.
I mean, look, the title he has now is really intended to be defended all over the world. So they at least are trying to make it, which really was the purpose of the international title when it was first introduced. And I mean, do you see Okada going around defending the international title in different promotions? Because I don't.
I do not know.
So that's basically what the national title has now become. And so he's like, for example, he's going to be defending the title next weekend at the New Japan, New Beginning USA show. They're doing a show in Long Beach. So he's defending the title on that show. And maybe he'll get out to other independent promotions and defend the title there, and that's fine. But just as a general rule, and I think we both feel the same way, it's not just an AEW thing, although AEW does have a lot of belts, but so does WWE. And it's a problem there too. Like, somebody sent in a question to me last week and asked me if you had the power to kind of wave your hand and get rid of certain championships, which ones would you get rid of? And I, without even thinking about it, the first titles I said were get rid of the speed titles, because what the hell do you need speed titles for, right? So I would get rid of those. And then I would do some consolidation, right, in terms of the tag team titles. Like, there's a lot of things I would like to do, because I just feel like it also brings greater value and competition to the existing titles if you narrow the focus down to a smaller number of belts. In AEW, they do have a gigantic roster. And you also have the Ring of Honor titles. Don't forget that, right? How many times have we seen ROH belts defended on AEW television, right? Quite often. So are there titles in AEW I would like to get rid of or consolidate? Sure. Yes, I would. And I don't think Tony's done, by the way, introducing new titles. I'm almost certain before this year is out, there will be a new championship of some kind. And I just feel like when you do that, it just waters down all of the existing ones, because after a while, like, you have the national, international, continental, like, what differentiates those?
Nothing.
There really is no differentiation.
You mean to tell me we're going to get an intergender tag team title?
You know what? Not intergender, but I have said this before. It's too bad there are too many titles, because I would not mind having, like they have in AAA, the mixed tag team titles. I think that could be fun if you have even like a small division or whatever. And I mean, you could have main stars participating in it, but you have, like, you know, male and female teams, and you have a set of like tag belts. Like, something like that would be different, and something like that could be fun. But I cannot in good conscience sit here and say, hey, you should introduce these when we have all of these other championships. Like, you'd have to get rid of something that already exists. You can't just keep adding. Like, if you go to the roster page, AEW's got the graphics on the roster page right at the top of all the champions. Look at all the titles that they have there.
It's too many.
It's crazy. Yeah, no, it's crazy. I get what he's saying, and he articulated it very well. I understand his point, but I just think there's just too many of them. You got to scale back a little bit.
Man, that speed title needs to go. Tag team titles need to be merged. I'd even get rid of the Women's United States Championship.
That's honestly what I would do, yeah. And have the one intercontinental title, and you can have it cross-branded.
I don't get it.
It's not like they're doing much with the U.S. title right now. I mean, it's been around for, about a year now. So if we were sitting here and looking back and going, man, what a year it's been. Look at all the women that have benefited by holding the women's U.S. title. Oh, what a great decision to introduce both of them at the same time. I can't sit here and say that. It's been just the opposite. Like, what has that title accomplished on SmackDown?
Yeah, man, my personal top three gripes for pro wrestling the last couple of years, these fucking long shows, 5-6 hours long, that AEW does, got to get rid of them. Or if you want to scale back the time from 8 to 7, do that. Way too many championships for both companies. I feel like everybody needs a consolation prize and everybody needs a title to feel important when they're really not. And the predictability of the shows. I mean, those are my top 3. Like, I can't stand any one of those top 3. I feel like we need to change something there. But Tony loves his championships, and he's going to continue giving us more championship titles. So we'll see what happens with that. But moving on to some WWE discussion here. We had a lot happen as far as Elimination Chamber build going into Chicago. We had the men's side on SmackDown. Obviously, the most important of all the qualifying matches this week came from Friday Night SmackDown, and that was Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, and Jacob Fatu. Now, this was a big talking point, Jason. I had almost convinced myself that Sami Zayn needs to win this. And somehow Jacob Fatu and Cody Rhodes would cancel themselves out, and we get some other way for them to maybe get involved, or maybe we're looking at it completely different and neither one of them challenged for the World Championship at WrestleMania. But at the end of it all, Cody got the win, and I'm standing here looking at my TV, and I'm like, what the fuck did they do? Number one, Drew McIntyre came out and kind of laid waste to everybody, just looking like a dominant WWE champion. He delivers a Claymore, and Cody eventually basically no-sells the entire thing because he ended up winning the match. Kicked out. Sami Zayn, on the other hand, he was handed a free spot into the chamber.
To be fair, he kicked him in the head with sneakers on, not boots.
That makes the world of a difference, huh?
I'm just saying.
Okay. Secondly, Sami Zayn was almost basically gift-wrapped a spot in the chamber, and he opted to say, fuck you, I am going to do this my way. So he ended up looking...
A lot good that did for Sami Zayn on SmackDown.
He ended up looking like the ultimate geek in this entire thing. Cody, not so much, but it's more about Super Cody kicking out of a fucking Claymore, and then Sami looking like a complete goofball. Bro, what'd you think of the ending, man? I don't think anybody's surprised Cody's in there, but... we call Triple H safe. He went with his guy, Cody Rhodes, and he should have went, in my opinion, in a different direction. What'd you make of that on Friday?
Yeah, I mean, they went with the safe, obvious choice, which is what I expected, because Cody's going to be in the chamber. So Cody's in there, Randy's in there now. They could tell a story with the two of them. Jacob, it was interesting with Jacob, because Jacob has a gripe because he had the match won. He had the match won until Drew kicked him in the face. So unlike Sami, who's just a total loser because he lost fair and square at the Rumble, and he wouldn't even take the help here, and he lost here too. Like, you can't even argue like, oh, Sami was screwed, he deserves another opportunity. He doesn't. For the time being, he has exhausted his opportunities. But Jacob Fatu has a right to be very upset about this. So I do hope that will lead to, because we still got 8 weeks to go until we get to WrestleMania. That will lead to his inclusion in that championship match, whether it ends up being a 3-way or a 4-way. He has a legitimate case to make to Nick Aldis. So what I liked about it was the fact that there were some near falls there down the stretch that at least had some drama to it. But then with the Drew stuff and everything else, I don't know. I wasn't the biggest fan of how it ended. I just thought it made Sami just look so bad. But the outcome was exactly what I figured it would be. I mean, they were going to put Cody in there, and Cody's probably going to win the Elimination Chamber, and he's going to get Drew McIntyre. And the only thing I think we could hope for is that they will take the time to work other faces, other names into that match, because I just don't see Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre on its own being the WrestleMania match this year. It can't be.
Yeah, I seen some people kind of willing this in, or trying to anyway, will this into existence. Oh, it's going to be Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes, night one main event inside Hell in a Cell. I'm like, okay. Could you get behind that? If it's that type of stipulation.
I mean, it would probably be the only way to try to make that work. I mean, you had 3 stages of hell, and they were in a cage. So this is a bigger cage, is what you're saying.
Sure.
You could do it, but honestly, even that, it's not enough.
Listen,
it's not enough.
No, it's not enough. I don't know what people want to see at Mania. You know, you said Cody is going to eventually maybe win the chamber. We don't really know. It's a good guess because this is the way the administration here works. They go with the obvious. Bro, Randy Orton has to win the chamber. I'm sorry. He has to win the chamber. What do you do?
Necessarily, I don't think it's a slam dunk by any stretch.
No, I know it's not a slam dunk. I'm just saying he has to win the chamber because you're looking at one of two things. One, you either do Randy and Aleister Black, which nobody asked for, and Aleister Black has not been built up in a meaningful way to even make that match feel important, or you put Randy in the chamber, have him win the chamber. Drew McIntyre screws Cody Rhodes out of it. You already said Jacob Fatu already has a gripe because he should have won that match on Friday thanks to Drew McIntyre. Randy Drew is the scheduled match with Cody and Fatu getting added because of Drew McIntyre's behavior, and we get a fatal four-way.
So that's one idea.
Okay.
But when you say that Randy has to win the chamber, he doesn't, and here's why. Because now I think we're both assuming that Cody will win the belt back at WrestleMania. Let's say he does. Cody Rhodes wins the championship back at WrestleMania. Because even the idea of putting the belt on Drew was seemingly very last minute, and Triple H had to be convinced of this. It's not like the long-term play here is to have Drew hold the belt for 6 months or a year. So let's say Cody wins the belt back. Do you not see the potential for Randy Orton to be his first program coming out of WrestleMania instead of having him in the match at WrestleMania?
I think you are heading in the right direction. I could see that for sure. I feel like with this whole Aleister Black deal, I feel like you mentioned Aleister's basically taken upon himself to do the carrying cross gimmick. I feel like Randy's eventually going to show us a little bit darker Randy Orton. I feel Cody will win the title if that's the direction at Mania. And I feel like we need to have a major instance happen at the end of night one. I feel like Randy turning heel on Cody and then beginning the program with Cody as the champion and Randy as the heel challenger following WrestleMania. I want something to happen outside of Cody wins and we'll see you on night two. I want a nice cliffhanger going into night two and then beyond.
Sure, but Randy doesn't have to be in the match in order for that to happen. Like, he could get involved in the match, or he could come out after the match is over.
Yeah, but I'm trying to deviate away from him in Black. I don't want to see. That's the whole point of trying to make. I don't want to see him.
Well, you could try, but I mean that just. I mean, if not that, Aleister Black ain't going to have no spot on the WrestleMania card.
I ain't going to lose sleep over that one.
I'm sure he's hoping and praying he gets that match with Randy Orton. So. I mean, it all comes down to what that segment on Friday was all about. Like, is that leading to an actual match? Or is it just him kind of egging Orton on and, kind of planting a seed for what will end up being a heel turn? Where he's trying to corrupt him. And, because he specifically mentioned 2009 Randy Orton in that promo. And 2009 Randy Orton was a menace back then. He was a heel menace at that time. So I feel like there was a reason why he specifically mentioned 2009 Randy Orton.
Yeah, I feel like Aleister Black was probably one of the bigger names predicted upon when Randy Orton had that open challenge at WrestleMania last year. Was that last year, right?
Yes.
Where Joe Hendry came out. I think Aleister Black was a lot of fans' desired opponent, but it didn't really make sense because he had just joined the company again, and you don't want to put him in a match that he's going to lose. I don't know. Maybe they really do want to work with each other. Maybe you're correct. I have no idea. I don't know, but I'd love to see Randy in the title picture, and I just want a little unpredictability. Fuck with the fans' ways of thinking going into Mania instead of just giving us this, and then we're going to go here, and it's going to be Cody. So we'll see what happens there. But all in all, it was a very good match. Out of all the Elimination Chamber qualifying matches, it's been the best one so far that they've given us. The women, we got Alexa Bliss, Zelina, and Julia. Alexa Bliss is advanced. And no surprise there. But the women's chamber is shaping up to be very, very nice. So we have a qualifying match coming up this Friday. And Charlotte Flair is going to be in there with Kiana James and Nia Jax. So if we use our brains a little bit, we will think Charlotte advances and she will be in there with her tag team partner. Rhea is already in. Tiffany Stratton is already in. Io has a qualifying match come Monday. She's in, hopefully. And then Asuka's in. And that's the field of six.
Well, so here's the thing. I'm not convinced that EO is getting in for sure, because look at who is in this chamber. There's one heel, Asuka. Everybody else is a babyface. Like Asuka is the only heel who has so far qualified for this elimination chamber.
Why is this an issue now? Who cares about that?
I'm just saying, you would think they would want it to be a little more even if it's not 3-3, you know, at least have one other heel in there. And if it's not going to be Nia, I hope not, then it could be Raquel getting in next week instead of Io. I agree. I mean, I want Io in there. I don't know why you would not want Io on your fucking PLE, especially with Rhea in there already. So she should hopefully advance and be in that chamber. But if they want more heels, then I would rather Raquel get in than Nia.
Yes, absolutely. You know what I'm afraid of? I'm afraid of, and this is why
Nia Jax winning the elimination chamber and wrestling Jade Cargill at WrestleMania.
No, something much more terrifying. Rhea Ripley and Io going into Mania and defending the titles against the Bella Twins is what I'm afraid of most. Like that would be terrifying, to take your two hottest females and put them in something that is so beneath them, where they could be wrestling each other and make WrestleMania and the card better.
Well, I mean, it would likely end up being multiple teams. Like, not, I can't see it just being the Bellas. It would probably be maybe the Kabuki Warriors and maybe Roxanne and Raquel. I'm sure they would want to have like a multi-team thing, which, again, I feel like Rhea and Io, I wish they were doing something else, but the deeper we get into WrestleMania season here, the options are really closing up. So that's probably what they're going to be ending up doing. But it's not just on the women's chamber side. Like and we'll get into the men's chamber also, but there are no heels at the moment who have qualified for that elimination chamber. And I'm hoping that on Friday there's one heel in that match, and it happens to be the one who I think should win that match, which is it's Trick Williams, Damian Priest, and Carmelo Hayes. And it should be Trick going to the chamber. So that would be one heel. And then next week, we found out it's going to be Bronson Reed, Jey Uso, and who's the third one?
El Grande Americano.
Ah, yes. OG, El Grande Americano. So really, it's Jey Uso or Bronson Reed.
Well, Bronson Reed's going to get fucked by the masked man.
That's what I figure. So I think Jey Uso is going to get in the chamber, and when they play his music, he's going to run it back in the chamber, just like he did in the Rumble.
He's going to yeet on top of the pod?
Well, I don't know if he'll be on top of the pod, but he'll definitely be yeeting in the chamber and running it back for sure. So I think Jey Uso probably gets in, which means Trick Williams would be the lone heel in the men's elimination chamber match.
Well, you figure Trick is going to get in there because they've already kind of integrated him into the Ortons and the Sami Zayns on Friday night. So that's where they want him to be. That's where they expect him to be. And within 6 to 12 months, he's going to be a main event guy there. So that's exactly what I feel is going to happen too. And I'm going to go a step further because I have been asking for weeks now, as soon as Melo won the championship and we kind of felt like Trick Williams is going to get called up to the main roster. Melo and Trick should be the match at WrestleMania. The United States Championship has been a huge focus on Friday night. It's been the biggest thing on Friday night for like the last 5 months. If they don't put that championship on the Mania card, that is an absolute fucking fail by WWE Creative. So I'm having Trick pin Melo on Friday, and I'm having that when they go back and look upon it. I'm having that be the catalyst for why Trick Williams is going to ask for a United States Championship Open match at WrestleMania. And he's going to win.
Well, you know what my fear is?
That is going to be on the Friday night, lumped in with the Andre Battle Royal.
And not that it would be a bad match, but it almost feels to me like the match they're building to for Mania is Sami and Trick. Because Trick is still going out there and cutting promos on Sami Zayn and calling him a bum. And obviously now Sami has no obvious spot. So, but does it feel that way? It feels like even more likely is Trick and Sami as the WrestleMania match.
Yeah, that's just like Randy Orton and Black, not a WrestleMania match to me.
And then the U.S. title is relegated to the Friday before.
Listen, man, just integrate the whole Sami missing Mania to his big story where he eventually wins the title next year. Miss it this year, win it next year. I don't know if you want to see that or not, but fans are
right now.
getting,
as I sit here right now at this moment, the answer is no.
No, the answer is no.
But there is time to persuade.
All right, looking at the women's chamber, we got news here, and I'll lump this into this discussion because this is now confirmed by herself. Bianca Belair is still dealing with a significant hand injury, and she posted on Monday, the 16th, that she's getting finger surgery. Now, she's been out quite a while, and while she initially expected a recovery of 8 to 12 weeks, the process has now stretched to 11 months, and SmackDown desperately needs her. She did an interview on BET's 106 and Sports and says this: "So I broke my knuckle, not my finger. I broke my knuckle. I broke the joint. It's something that I thought was going to be very straightforward, 8 to 12 weeks. It's been almost 6 months at this point. And she is going to, theoretically, Jason, now miss the chamber. She's not in any of the qualifying matches and will not be in a championship match at Mania, which a lot of people predicted Bianca and Jade for the Women's Championship, WWE Women's Championship at WrestleMania. Now, you look at the field of potential 6 here that we talked about. There's only one name that sticks out to me. She hasn't qualified yet. And we talked about this last week. I think out of all the names, I think Charlotte, and I don't believe I'm going to say this, is the best choice out of all of them to go wrestle Jade at WrestleMania for the Women's Championship.
I mean, really, it's Charlotte or Tiffany. And Tiffany and Jade has already been done, several times. So I really don't have any appetite or desire to see that again at WrestleMania. Charlotte, at least, they've kept her away from the world title scene for, it's going to be a year. And they've teased this match before. They still haven't given it to us. She's still the biggest name in that division, at least on that show. So it is the match that makes the most sense. I don't see her winning the title, but I do think that she would be the right person to put in there against Jade.
I feel like Charlotte is going to inadvertently eliminate Alexa Bliss. I think Charlotte and Jade happens at Mania. And I think Alexa turns on Charlotte at WrestleMania. And then we get Alexa versus Charlotte at Backlash in Tampa.
Yeah. I mean, it's felt like we were building to that at some point. So to me, that would make as much sense as anything. Because I don't think Jade's losing the title.
No.
She literally just had her first defense after 100+ days on SmackDown on Friday against Jordynne Grace. She beat Jordynne Grace. And I don't know if they're going to keep the belt on her until Bianca finally comes. I mean, at this point, we got to put Bianca on the side here because we just don't know. It all depends on her recovery. We have no idea, when she's going to be back. So you can't just kind of stall and wait. I mean, that story will always be there if they want to tell it when she eventually comes back. But it doesn't feel like the Jade run or the Jade experiment is ending at WrestleMania this year.
No, I don't know when Bianca gets back, but if WWE doesn't fix the obvious problems still that exist on the SmackDown side for the women's division, Jade is going to have yet another 100-day defenseless reign. So we need her to defend that championship more than just once every 100 days. So that's the latest coming out of SmackDown. For the men, I'm going to lump this in here. We got right now in the men's chamber, Orton, LA Knight, Cody Rhodes, Javon Evans. He advanced last night in a very good match against Gunther. And who the fuck was in the match yesterday? Dominic Mysterio, yes. So he advanced, and that was the right outcome. I think we both agree that was the right outcome because we're looking at it, and the way Gunther has been treated as the career killer. You can't have him go into the chamber because there's only one way in by winning and then one way out by losing. It's like, or winning the match. So he's not going to lose. And you can't put him in there if he's not going to go to WrestleMania and win the championship. So I think Javon Evans winning and the fact that they set up Dragon Lee to take on Gunther next is the right move. But the thing is, Jason, I felt like with Dragon Lee, it's all going to lead to what are you laughing at?
I was saying, I it played out exactly the way that I expected it to, but I felt bad. Like, I actually had secondhand embarrassment watching last night because when Dragon Lee came off the barricade with that ring bell and he showed up and he hit Gunther with the bell, like, the way I would describe it is like not a pop, but an anti-pop. Like, there was basically no reaction for it. It was a spot that was designed to get a reaction, and it got virtually none.
Well, to be fair, I thought the crowd was very, very silent through most of that match.
Yeah, no, the crowd was very silent for most of the show.
Yeah.
And that's not the crowd's fault.
No.
Because it's become noticeable, maybe not every week. It depends on what city they're in, but it's become a pattern, I think, where you have a lot of weeks where the crowd is sitting on their hands. And that's not our fault. That's not the fans' fault. If the fans are sitting on their hands or the fans are not making a lot of noise, that's on you. That means whatever you are doing or not doing, something is not clicking.
Oh, they're doing, man. They're doing LA Night in the fucking Vision for 12 months straight. That's what the fuck they're doing.
Dude, since June. Since fucking June.
What are we doing, man? What are we doing? The guy
the
guy takes 2 months off and he comes back and right back to the fucking group.
No, you know what the best part of last night was? And this is WWE created for LA Night in a nutshell. So not only has he been feuding with the Vision since June, okay, after Money in the Bank, but he shows up last night. In the opening segment, he interrupts the opening segment, and he issues a challenge to the Vision for a match. And they have a match, and he spends, I would say, what do you think, 95% of the match getting his ass handed to him?
Yes.
And then he gets put through the barricade at ringside, and then his team fucking loses. And then we don't hear from him again. We don't see him again for the rest of the show. And that, in a nutshell, is the state of LA Night.
But you see, fans think he's going to win the Elimination Chamber, and then go win the WWE
Here's the best
Championship.
part about it, though. Fans not only think he's going to win the Elimination. I don't know any of those fans, by the way, so I don't know what people you're polling. But no, the idea, and we may as well talk about it now because this was also news this week, and it came from Dave in The Observer, but he had a little nugget in The Observer last week that mentioned that as of late January, internally, the WrestleMania match listed for LA Night is against Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, that sounds fucking terrible.
Which is just a horrendous idea for LA Night. But I want you to just, everything I just said, process everything I just said, and the way things played out on Raw last night. And then think about the fact that, okay, now we're going to send him into a match with Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. Gee, I wonder how that's going to go for LA Night. And I joked about this too. We were just talking about him in this Vision vortex since like June of last year. You could argue, I know technically he's not, but he is affiliated with Paul Heyman. So like you look at it and go, well, at least he would be feuding with somebody other than the Vision. But would he really? Because technically Brock Lesnar, he's kind of got an in with the Vision. I look at it as an extension of the Vision. He would still be feuding with the Vision, even if he wrestled Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania this year. It would be the same thing.
Listen, chat. Someone in the chat says, SB44 says, I don't buy anything Dave says. Listen, you can believe that. But LA Knight and Cody Rhodes, who were in the Royal Rumble, who did they eliminate? Who did we make a big deal about them eliminating, which got glossed over because everybody wanted to fucking yeet? It was Brock Lesnar. So if Dave is saying it, there's got to be some internal truth to that somewhere. Like that doesn't come out of fucking thin air, for no reason.
LA Knight eliminated Brock Lesnar from the Royal Rumble, and now we know Brock Lesnar is back next week. I don't know if they officially announced it last week, but or last night rather. But
no, they didn't say nothing last night.
Okay, so they said nothing last night, but but it must have been announced somewhere. The belief is that he is back in Atlanta next week. So Brock Lesnar is, whether it's a surprise or whatever, he's supposed to be back on Raw next week, which is very curious because next week is the go-home Raw before Elimination Chamber. So why would you bring him back then, the week before Elimination Chamber, and not wait until after the Chamber? Unless it was going to tie into the Chamber in some way. I think the timing of it is a little curious. So we'll get our answer next week because if Brock's showing up, we're going to get some sense of what his WrestleMania direction is. And I think, we're probably in agreement on what we would like for it to be. But if it's LA Knight, then we'll know. I just think that's, what it reminds me of? It gives me visions, I mean, no pun intended, of Ambrose and Brock from WrestleMania 32, which ended up being a terribly disappointing match. And I just don't see that combination of Brock and LA Knight as a match, like a must-see match that's going to be some either really fun match or a match that's going to help elevate LA Knight in some way. Because do you honestly believe that they would have LA Knight go over on Brock Lesnar with all of the, whether it's Gunther or Oba, like all of the potential big opponents for Brock to wrestle, do you think they would have LA Knight beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania? No. Like, are you out of your fucking mind?
Brock ain't coming to work one of his 4 dates in the year to lose to fucking LA Knight. Come on now.
Fucking out of your mind?
You got to be kidding me.
Like, give me a break.
Listen, I don't know what Brock's plan is next Monday. He could take out Jey Uso. He could take out Jey Uso, get into the chamber qualifier, actually wrestle next week, which is a fucking pipe dream. Yeah, I know.
What have you been smoking?
Something, clearly.
I thought you were a drinker. I didn't know you were a smoker too.
Maybe the masked man takes out Bronson Reed, and maybe, due to that, Lesnar comes in, he gets that chamber spot. Maybe he's in the chamber. We don't know. And maybe LA Knight and Brock Lesnar is born in the Elimination Chamber. Again, I don't know. What I'm hoping for here coming out of last night's show is that the chamber is set with all 6 guys that they plan to put in there, minus Brock Lesnar. If Lesnar's going to show up, I said this last night on my Raw review, Obafemi's been teasing these contracts. Nick Aldis gave him a contract on Friday. Adam Pearce gave him a better contract offer on Monday. And I honestly think if we are to make WrestleMania the best show it could be, Lesnar is the one that brings out Obafemi to sign the Monday Night Raw contract because he's not going Friday Night SmackDown. And that match is made, or teased at least, going into WrestleMania. That's the only thing that I can think of. Other than that, what the fuck's he doing on the show?
I don't know. Maybe he's going to dance mariachi with OG Americano like he did all those years ago on SmackDown when he came out with the mariachi band. I don't know. What I do know is that Obafemi is feuding with Kit Wilson right now. He's about to have his second match on Friday with Kit Wilson. Yeah. So I sure hope that they're just stalling until Brock comes back next week.
I don't want to give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to, just a small sliver of it. They have to do this match because Gunther, I feel like, is wrestling after last night. I don't know how you feel. I feel like Gunther and Rey Mysterio are headed for a WrestleMania match. I know.
Yeah, I mean the Dragon Lee tie-in, I could see it. Or not for his career though.
No, not for his career. No. Or we didn't touch upon this yet. AJ Styles is having a tribute next week in Atlanta. Do you think that ties into maybe him wrestling in some capacity and coming back? Maybe at WrestleMania?
No, I mean not in WWE.
So it's just WWE monetizing his name at this point.
Yeah, I think they were waiting until they were in his home state, and they're going to have a nice little tribute ceremony. I mean, I'm not saying they won't end up working it into some kind of angle to help get someone else or some other bigger angle over. But as far as AJ going back on his word, no, I don't see that.
I don't know. I saw a tweet yesterday from Mrs. MJF, and she said, MJF posted a very cool looking picture of himself at Grand Slam, and she said, "This picture is phenomenal." I don't know if anybody saw that yesterday. I thought that word usage there was quite odd. Maybe she thinks her husband's phenomenal, which is fine. But I just thought the choice of word there was just really uncanny.
Well, did you see what Andrew Zarian posted?
No.
So last week he posted a tweet which was without any context, and it's not untrue, that things are going to get or about to get very interesting in the AEW world title picture. And it's like, okay, on its own, that's true, right?
Oh, I did see that tweet. I kind of attributed that to Will Ospreay coming back.
But then right after that, the Mat Men podcast Twitter account quote tweeted that and used the word, that sounds pretty phenomenal.
Huh.
So I'm looking at that and I'm like, okay. But then last night they make this announcement that AJ's back next week. He's going to have this tribute segment. So I don't know whether to make heads or tails of this. I don't know if this is their way of, trying to do something nice for him and play nice because he hasn't decided yet whether he wants to sign a new contract to stick around or if he's already signed a new contract to stick around. I don't know. But it felt to me like looking at that, because I feel like he wouldn't post that unless he was being told something.
Yeah.
That there may be smoke to that fire.
Listen, I hope it happens. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. AJ Styles at All In, sign me up. You know, if they do MJF, Ospreay, and then Omega, AJ Styles. Jesse and I actually talked about those two matches potentially being at All In. Bro, if they do those two matches, Tony's going to break his original record of Wembley. The first year, he'll break his record for people in attendance for that.
If he can get AJ Styles in for any kind of match on that show,
yeah,
I mean that would be gigantic for them.
Yeah, I'm hoping it happens. We'll see. The other thing I wanted to mention to you is this. We talk about this Vision Vortex, and the fact that the Vision won yesterday's 6-man tag team match and pinned Jimmy Uso. Bronson Reed Tsunami off the top rope, pinned Jimmy Uso. Are we looking now at the Vision being the de facto #1 contenders because they pinned the tag team champions for the tag team championships? And how do you see that playing out? Because I did mention, this masked man thing is really kind of grating my nerves. Like, just fucking unmask the guy already. Like, I know they can't because Rollins is probably not cleared to come back yet, but like the longer that they wait, I don't know how you feel, Jason. I don't even give a shit who it is. Like, I think we all assume it's Rollins, but who could at this point give a shit about the masked man? They need to end it as soon as they possibly can. And I feel like if the tag team titles are going to be on the line with the Vision challenge the Usos, that's the perfect time to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm over the masked man stuff. It's so ridiculous at this point. And the fact that last night they ran back-to-back mystery angles. Like in back-to-back segments.
Got the fucking mystery machine out there. Let's get Scooby-Doo out there.
There's an obsession with this, like, we got to go the mystery route. We'll have multiple masked men. And now, of course, the coup de grace here is that we have a fucking box on the show. And everyone's wondering, what's inside. But they did this in back-to-back segments. Are they this devoid of ideas that they keep going back to the well?
Bro, we went from
mystery stuff.
We went from theft to now mystery. Who's a grande americano? Who's in the crate? Who's the masked man? It's like, what the fuck are we doing?
I don't know.
Let's get Scooby-Doo on the case. Let's get fucking the mystery machine out there on random Monday night.
When you're devoid of ideas, it's like you fall back on what you feel like works for you, and we just keep getting these mystery angles, and it's like I don't understand it. I just don't.
Raggy?
Yeah, Well, I mean, they do like a movie once. They had some kind of Scooby-Doo WWE tie-in. Like
maybe I don't remember, but I think there was. Yeah,
sure. Yeah, that makes sense. It's just ridiculous. It's just fucking lame.
I mean, the biggest storyline that they have going into Mania right now is who's the fucking mystery crate? Who's in the mystery crate?
Well, yes. So let's talk about this.
Yeah.
So I'm watching this show last night, and they go backstage, and there's this guy Eli, and Eli has a delivery for Adam Pearce, and there's this giant crate, and on the crate it says "Do not open until 2/28/26," which is the date of the Elimination Chamber. And he's asking Eli, what is this? Where did it come from? I don't know. Did you notice what was on the paper on Eli's clipboard?
I did not. What was on the paper?
Nothing. It was a blank page. So he's asking Eli all these questions, and Eli doesn't even have a fucking thing on the piece of paper in front of him. So Eli doesn't know shit. And he's like, just ship it off to SmackDown. Let Nick Aldis deal with it. So they're going to ship this crate around, apparently, for the next 12 days until they get to Chicago for the Elimination Chamber.
Because it's really believable out of human beings in the fucking crate for 12 days.
Well, I said, so people ask me, who do you think is inside the crate? And of course, the first thing I thought of was Jericho. Because Jericho's, people are waiting to see, what his next move is going to be. And I think we have news on that here in a second. But so that was the first thought that popped in my head. But then I'm thinking about the absurdity of this. And if we're supposed to believe that there is a human being inside this fucking box with no holes poked in it, by the way, and that they're going to stay in this box for 12 days, I just and it's kind of morbid, but I could just see they get to Chicago and they pry this fucking thing open. And inside the crate is Jericho's dead body, just laying in the box. And he's got his old light up jacket on with one little bulb that's still flickering on it because he's been in the fucking box for 12 days and now he's dead. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm old enough to remember when they did this angle at the Survivor Series and we had a giant egg. And for weeks on television, the egg was sitting there in the nest. And they were like, what's in the egg? And they were teasing this, who's going to pop out of the egg? What could be in the egg? And Undertaker had just come into the company, and Undertaker was terrified that Vince McMahon, because he didn't know. He was watching the show on television at home, and he sees the egg, and he knows he's making his debut soon. And he's like, oh my God, like they're going to debut me as Eggman, and that's going to be the end of my career. He thought that he might pop out of the egg. But at least there it ended up being the gobbledygooker. It was like a mascot. Right? Technically, it wasn't a human being, so I guess maybe he could survive. And he was a fucking egg. I mean, that's how they hatch, right? So at least in that silly, stupid world, it made sense. On what planet would it make sense for there to be a human being inside this box for 2 weeks?
They did not think before they aired this segment last night.
They don't think. They just do.
No.
Oh, that sounds great. Anything that comes out of a box, it's going to be a big hit, right? So, but think about it. If it's not a person, if we're talking about an object of something, like what could be inside the box, if not a human being?
I joke that it's going to be a new Triple H statue that they could carry around everywhere on Monday night, Friday night, and claim it's a new era every single week. He doesn't get enough praise and self-adulation and ego, you know?
He's really adamant about having these 4-match PLEs. It's like, we're not going to add a 5th match. We're going to have the crate. And that's going to be the other big segment on the show. We'll keep it to the 4 because we got the 2 chamber matches and we have the 2 title matches. I guess we'll see next week if they put Gunther and Dragon Lee on the actual show or if they do that on TV. But yeah, look, the idea of doing something like similar to this, like as a hook for the show, they did this last year. Last year, it was The Rock and Cody's soul. I want your soul. Give me your answer at the Elimination Chamber, right? And that was the big hook.
It's Dwayne and Cody, though. It's not a fucking empty crate.
I'm saying. But they did an angle last year where they tried to hook you in because you got to tune in to see what the answer is going to be. What's going to happen with Rock and Cody? And so they don't have The Rock this year. And they don't have John Cena this year. And so what are we going to do? We're going to have a mystery crate. And I would have to think they're going to use it as a way to debut somebody. So the only question is, who's it going to be? Right? Who's going to pop out? If not Jericho, then who's it going to be? And I mean, there's different names that you could come up with, I guess, for who it could be. But just the premise of this is so absurd. It just defies comprehension. It can't be a serious character, can it? It almost has to be some kind of goofball off the wall kind of like goofy shit.
Listen, everybody initially went to Jericho because I saw Justin LeBar tweet something out last night, and he said, back in 1999, Jericho debuted in Chicago, and now they're coming to Chicago for the Elimination Chamber in 2026. I'm like, fine, that makes sense. And I think if Jericho wants to come back to the company, he's obviously going to think outside the box and do something a little differently, right? So, I feel like Jericho is going to really make it feel big and like surprise. But Sap put this story out, and Fightful now is reporting that they've inquired with AEW about Jericho's status. And due to AEW announcing years back that his deal ran through 2025, this led to many assuming his deal would be up at the end of the year last year. So far, Jericho is still listed on the AEW roster page, which indicates a talent remaining under contract. There have been exceptions for Powerhouse Hobbs, who was removed after his final appearance in AEW. Jericho is firmly under contract to AEW, and Fightful is reporting and is told the belief from those around Jericho and in AEW that his deal was frozen after he took time off in 2025. Now, I don't remember Jericho being injured. Jericho did Fozzy. Jericho did the cruise.
Yeah. So I don't think it has to necessarily be a case where you're injured. So this is where we don't know, because he did take time off. He did do Fozzy. I don't know if he did any other stuff or if he just took time off. So there could be a clause in his contract that has some language in there about this. If you take time off, not for an injury, but to voluntarily take time off and do something. Like in that situation, I actually understand that. Like if it was Jericho's choice, you know what, take me off TV, or I got these other things going on, you know what, then it actually kind of makes sense. Because what I'm not a big fan of is when somebody gets hurt and they're off for an extended period of time because of an injury or something, and now all of a sudden they come back and they have 10 months extra, or a year extra on their contract. And that just feels scummy to me. But in that case, if that's what it is, then, I can kind of understand it. And you would have to think Jericho knew about that at the time that he decided to take time off. I just can't imagine it's something that Tony would, him of all people, that he would kind of blindside him with that. I feel like he's got too much respect for him and what he did for AEW from day one to do something like that to him. So, look, we still don't even know if Jericho wants to leave. There's a lot of people who were making assumptions about him being in WWE. We don't know that he wants to leave.
Yeah,
we don't know anything.
I would feel Jericho would be the first on that list of people that would use Tony Khan to maybe lobby for a better deal. By teasing going to WWE and play the social media game and go back to AEW and get some more money out of Tony Khan. I don't know. If Tony wanted to let Jericho go off of respect, he should have just let him go if he didn't want to be there. But the fact that he added time on top of his contract potentially.
Supposedly.
Because
I think from the language that I think Sean was using in his, he posted a tweet. They believe that this is the case. So it doesn't sound like it's coming directly from Jericho per se, but people there who may not fully be in the know. So it gives us a little bit more clarity about why he's still on the roster page and why, he wasn't at the Rumble because he is still under contract. But as far as how long he would be frozen for, or if he has to come back first and then it kicks back into effect like this, we don't know. Like this is above our heads. So we don't know.
Oh, it's from above, huh?
It's from above.
Came from above.
I just set myself up for that one. Yeah, no, I mean it's like everything else at AEW right now. It comes from above. So
yes. I do agree with you though. Of all the people that probably knew exactly what was going to happen with a situation like that, Jericho would probably know. Hey, if I take time off, I'm going to get time added to my contract. I think he of all people would know that. So
yeah.
As usually, the standard is the inclusion of AEW talents on the Jericho cruise, says SAP, which is currently not the plan for November. There's no talent for the Jericho cruise from AEW. Sources have indicated that Jericho is still actively accepting convention dates for upcoming months. Those close to Jericho have been very tight-lipped about his future, but we're told that he's mentioned to people that he would be open to a WWE return, but feared he would have to give up his remaining outside projects if he does end up back there. So the big question is, Jason, who's in the fucking box? Because if it's not Jericho, the other name that I had in mind, and you mentioned goofy and fucking comical, silly is the WWE debut of Danhausen.
Well, I mean, his contract supposedly, I think his deal was also frozen, right? Wasn't it for a while? But his contract, the last I remember reading a few months ago was that his deal was set to be up in February. So, I mean, the timeline would line up.
But you're going to sell who jumps out of the crate and have it be Danhausen for the elimination?
I actually think it would get a big pop if it was him. I feel like enough people would know who he is that it would get a positive reaction.
What's the biggest reaction on the road to WrestleMania this year? Danhausen jumping out of the box.
Well, yeah. I mean, that kind of says it all. And then what? Yeah. And then what's his role on the show, I guess? And look, I mean, I don't mind Danhausen coming in. I actually think that there are ways to use him where he could probably sell a shitload of merch.
Sure.
And, get over in a big way with the, with the younger fans. So, yeah, I almost feel like it has to be someone like that because even the idea of it being Jericho, it's so goofy, dude. Like, it's a fucking crate. Like, what main event caliber star is going to pop out of a crate after 12 days? You know what I mean? Like,
I got a lot of Vince McMahon tweets to the post I put. I'm like, you really want Vince McMahon to pop out of the fucking crate on the 28th?
It should be his coffin. Is what that the box should be. Give me a break.
So that's the news there. I don't know. It says more that WWE is just completely bankrupt of ideas, where there's a lot of mystery surrounding several different angles. Like I mentioned before, who's the masked man, who's in the crate, and who's fucking El Grande Americano. There's two Americanos. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, this is not good. It doesn't feel like WrestleMania season. It hasn't really gotten any better coming out of the Rumble. A lot of these shows, like Jason said last week, missing that spark. I feel like it's more just copy and paste, same old shit. Crowds are silent. And there was a report this week that WWE held multi-department meetings to address WrestleMania ticket sales. Now, this is coming from Fightful Select and WrestleVotes. It was reported that a multi-department meeting took place on February 11. The purpose of the gathering was to create new strategies to increase sales and momentum as the event approaches. WWE held a multi-department company meeting yesterday. This is last week's report from WrestleVotes, to address WrestleMania ticket sales. According to a source, leadership acknowledged internally that the current numbers are below expectations. All departments have been tasked with developing strategies and promotions to roll out beginning in late February in an effort to boost momentum in sales heading into WrestleMania. Additionally, we're told WWE intends to keep current ticket pricing as is for the time being. Now, as of this past week, it's probably more than what I'm about to mention here. They have approximately 36,000 plus out the door for each night. For comparison, at this same point last year, the company had moved about 10,000 more tickets per night, or had to move 10,000 more tickets per night. WrestleMania 41 eventually finished between 56 and 60,000 tickets for each night last year. There was also been a story going around as of last week with local businesses in Las Vegas that they were very upset about watch parties being canceled or watch-alongs at these establishments being canceled. WWE, according to SAP, is very adamant with keeping that in place. This decision upset a number of local establishments, including many of the bars surrounding where WrestleMania is going to be. Obviously, Vegas paid a site fee to bring the event to the city to increase tourism. WWE's not really helping that cause at all with that decision. Jason, we can sit here and say, how do you boost ticket sales? And look at the obvious increase this year over last year. We can sit here and obviously say, well, if they book a better fucking show week to week and give us some excitement and make it feel like WrestleMania season with twists and turns and excitement and unpredictability like we got during WrestleMania 40, which came out of fucking thin air, out of a mistake, which they ended up correcting the course for that one, I feel like we would be in a lot better position. But a lot of people are going to cite the ticket sales and tourism being down in the United States for people not wanting to travel for a multitude of reasons here, feeling unsafe. Is WWE in a position to fix any of this? Like, they probably know the answer to their questions, and they don't want to do anything to fix their problems.
Well, I mean, one of the things that's hurting them also is, you just mentioned a couple of years ago, The Rock was part of the show, right? They had The Rock for both nights, and they had that whole Rock and Cody story. Last year, they had John Cena. It was John Cena's final WrestleMania match. He was going for number 17, the heel turn, which, at first I think everyone was all excited about, and then it kind of fizzled out. This year, they don't have that. They don't have any big attraction this year, unless they announce like Bad Bunny or something for the show. They don't have that this year. They have to rely on their own ideas and their own talent and their own existing roster. That coupled with just the very lackadaisical, creative, uninspired, we've talked about the lack of a spark and just we're waiting for this road to WrestleMania to really pick up. That doesn't help. But the ticket prices are still the biggest barrier for a lot of people. You can't ignore it. Like, the prices are, for a lot of people, it's not doable. It's just not. And like, a trip to Vegas in general is not cheap.
No.
It is not inexpensive. This is not just some random city. It's probably the most expensive tourist destination in the country. And so you've got to book airfare, you've got to book hotels, and you got all the other entertainment and food and everything else that goes along with it, not just WrestleMania tickets. And if you have if it's a family who wants to go to WrestleMania, like, good luck. They're pricing a lot of people out. So you combine all of those things. No big attraction, terrible creative, high ticket prices. I'm amazed they've already sold 38,000 tickets for both nights.
Yeah, but the thing is, they sold less tickets. They're selling on par to sell less tickets this year, but I think I got a graph here, if I could pull it up. They'll probably end up making just about the same as last year, if not more, with the less tickets sold this year because of the ticket increase for this year.
Well, but here's the other thing that people aren't also taking into account, and this is probably why TKO doesn't give a shit, and so far they've been resistant to lowering ticket prices. You mentioned a site fee.
Yeah.
I think they're getting $5 million for a site fee for bringing WrestleMania back to Vegas. They also are getting some major tax breaks.
Yes.
I think it's somewhere not much less than that. It's over $4 million in tax credits. So before the first match even goes to the ring on night one, they've already extracted a good $9 or $10 million from the city. So I think it's in their mind, like, oh, we're not going to get this from New Orleans, or we're not going to get this from this place or that place. So we got to go back to Vegas because we'll get a big site fee and we got tax credits. And, even if ticket sales are down, they're still going to make a shitload of money. Like Post Wrestling and WrestleNomics just had the report yesterday that came out that indicated that the gate for WrestleMania last year was the largest gate, even individually, not just in total.
I have that graph pulled up here.
Yeah.
36 million per night.
Well, I think it's 66 million total, which if you were to break it down evenly, it's like 33 million. Even $33 million, like there's never in the history of wrestling been a gate anywhere close to that.
Just in comparison, WrestleMania in 2016 did 17.3 million. 2019, 16.9. Lincoln Financial, night one and night two. Night two did 19.7. Night one did 18.8. And then 2017 did 14.5. And 2018 did 14.1. Look at the fucking sheer difference between last year's WrestleMania and all the years prior to that.
But why do you think
shit.
all of those shows where we would joke, like they keep announcing, we set the new gate record, we set the new gate record. Yeah, well, you can set the new gate record when you triple and quadruple and even more than that ticket prices. That's why they're setting all these gate records. That's why last year was a gate record, and this year will probably be a gate record. Because I don't doubt that when WrestleMania comes along, they're going to have at least, I would say at least 45,000 people a night in that building, right? Maybe more, because I think last year it was more. And maybe they'll get there, but at least 45K per night. It's not like they're going to have a half-empty building. So once the card fills out, and if there is a big attraction that they announce all of a sudden, they'll start selling, tickets, because there's always going to be people out there who are going to buy, for whatever reason. But you are pricing out a lot of people who I think would normally attend these shows. And it's going to continue to be a problem. And maybe that has a little something to do also with these quiet crowds that we're seeing week to week. So I've talked about that before, how it might change the makeup of the WWE audience, but those hardcore fans that have been supporting and going to these shows for years, that's the heart and soul. They're the heart and soul of the company. But when TKO knows they have this guaranteed money coming in, whether it's a site fee, look at next year, dude. Like we're hearing reports about emergency meetings because ticket sales were a little sluggish 2 months out. We're not going to be hearing this next year.
No.
There will be no reports next year about emergency meetings because of sluggish ticket sales, because WrestleMania is in Saudi Arabia, and we don't know officially. How much do you think they're getting for that show?
$250 easy.
At least 200, I would say.
Yeah.
At least $200 million for WrestleMania next year. I don't think they're going to be too worried about sluggish ticket sales next year, but they're going to go where the money is. That's it. That's all they care about. And I just keep thinking, and I bring up Vince McMahon because the one thing about Vince, and Mark Shapiro even said at one of the TKO or some event last year, that Vince was pricing for families. He was not taking full advantage. He was only pricing for families. Yeah, because he was smart enough to understand that those families, you have kids, right? You watch wrestling with your kids. Those kids grow up and they're wrestling fans and they watch it with their kids. And it's generational. I don't know how it was for you, but that's how it was with me. I was a fan because my dad was a fan. And so he understood that. And I don't think TKO really gives a shit because they're just trying to make as much money as they can now. We don't even know if they'll still own the company 10 years from now. They're trying to make as much money in the here and now. That's just the reality of it.
Yeah, Vince was, that's the one thing I love about Vince, and the one thing I miss about Vince, the fact that he put a lot of emphasis on family. These people don't care about that. How do you feel with them removing WrestleMania from New Orleans? Do you think that if they were in New Orleans this year and we were building towards New Orleans, that they'd be at 90% capacity for WrestleMania instead of what we're looking at here? Maybe just a little bit more than half full here for WrestleMania Vegas?
I don't think that you would be hearing about concerned over sluggish ticket sales because it's tough to run the same market in the same building back-to-back years. You know, there's a reason why it's very rarely been done for WrestleMania. I know they did it for 4 and 5 when they were in New Jersey, but they typically don't do that. So you already have an expensive destination. Now you're going back there after a WrestleMania that I don't think was particularly great, and they expect you to pay more. If they went to New Orleans, I think there would be a lot of excitement there because they haven't been there in so long. It probably would be a little more affordable just as a trip. I mean, look, they're still going to charge ridiculously expensive tickets. But no, I don't think it would be as bad. I think that, you know, it would be selling better. It's just crazy to me to think about where we were like 4 years ago, going into WrestleMania in Hollywood and the first the first Roman and Cody match. Dude, they announced that they had sold 90,000 tickets in the first 24 hours that they went on sale.
Yeah.
And you know when that was in August.
Without a fucking match announced.
10 months or 9 months, whatever it was, before WrestleMania. They were at 80% capacity. And that was just a few years ago.
I'm just trying to wrap my head around that. That's the whole silence for me. Like, I'm trying to think, like, man, the ticket prices are that astronomically bad nowadays that people just, you know, and it's mixed. I've always said it. You give a product to the people that they are very much invested in. People will come out no matter what. People are not afraid to spend their money on something that they feel is worthwhile. Genuinely. And I feel like if they fix that, a lot of their problems would be solved. No matter the high ticket prices or not. No matter if it's in Vegas for a second year in a row or not. If they gave us something that we find fulfilling and interesting and exciting and want to be a part of, everything that they have a problem with and all their worries would disappear. But they don't look at it that way. I don't think they're ever going to look at it that way. Triple H better fucking do something quickly because he better start putting some matches together and announcing those matches and getting people excited about what's going to be on that card, because the longer he waits, I don't see those ticket sales moving as quickly as they want them to move. So
yeah, and outside of Rock, keep calling him Rock, Roman and Punk, everything else is up in the air. Yeah. Like there's nothing else that we can really look at and go, okay, that's the match. Like there are things we could look at and go, that's probably the match. But it's just Punk and Roman right now. That's it. They don't have another. The card is not even there yet for people to be like, oh, I'm excited to see this and this and this. Like it's one match. You know, that's it. So maybe in a few weeks it'll be a little bit different, and we'll hear that, you know, they had a big spike in ticket sales once we know who Brock Lesnar is wrestling and who this person and that person is wrestling. But it's crazy that even 8 weeks out, outside of the one match they've already announced, you know, you look at the card and it's like everything is up for grabs right now. Where are those stories that have been building for 6 months or 9 months leading into WrestleMania with this being the payoff to the story? Like, where is it?
Oh, you mean the Judgment Day?
I'm still not convinced we're going to get any real payoff there. They were talking last night that Penta now is going to get an IC title shot at some point. Now I'm wondering if he gets it at WrestleMania. Like, I don't know.
That a fucking who comes out of the crate.
You want him to have a fifth match on that show? What are you, out of your fucking mind? Give me a break.
Anyway, that's the latest there. Multi-department meetings over WrestleMania ticket sales being sluggish. Allegiant Stadium even announced 25% off select tickets for the two-night events. That was on February 12th. WrestleVotes reported that. I think that ran through Valentine's Day. Yeah, so that's all over. So I don't know how many tickets were sold with that, but you know, 25% off. So they basically went back to last year's prices for people who wanted to buy this year.
Yeah. You want to pay 2025 prices, you can get in on the deal right now. I went on Ticketmaster just to check. And as of the other day, for I think it was night one, the cheapest ticket was $200-ish before taxes. That's for the section 400, which is nosebleed.
Yeah, I'll pass.
So if you want to spend 200, and I guess it probably ends up being like 225 maybe, to sit in the topmost seat at Allegiant Stadium, you can jump on Ticketmaster and get on that.
So what is that? That's $1,000 plus for tickets. That's for a family of 4, right? Flights probably cost you about $3,500, maybe. Room and board, another $2,000. You're looking at an easy 10 G's to go take your family to WrestleMania.
Yep, there you go.
Before you even hit the ground at the fucking Las Vegas airport.
You better be really good at craps, and maybe you can win some of that money back.
Go look for
Break
some Texas.
even.
Go look for some Texas Hold'em poker tournament somewhere in the casino, man.
You're gonna be playing some video poker at the casino.
So that's the latest there. WrestleMania, he's got to do something. Triple H has got to do something quick. I don't know if he's legitimately on the hot seat, but honestly, I would not be surprised if he is, because the show they have to know the show is lacking momentum and a spark, and it just feels uninspired. They have to know. So we'll see what happens with that. We'll end with this, and we'll have some fun with this. The Wrestling Observer Newsletter Awards went out and caused a shitstorm on social media. I, for one, Jason, for one, didn't give a shit about any of this, but we felt like it would be a fun topic of discussion to have fun with here. Now, these are all kind of jumbled. They're in no particular order. I took them as I saw them on my timeline because, quite honestly, I don't subscribe to the Observer, so I wasn't going to look for the awards on the actual website. So thank you to Wrestle Purists and Wrestle Talk, who put all this out on social media for free, so I don't have to spend $14.99. So we'll start with this, Jason. 2025 Wrestling Observer Promotion of the Year. 2 AEW, number 3 Stardom, and number 4 WWE, rounded out by number 5 New Japan Pro Wrestling. So I know CMLL, they are doing big business with Mystico at the top of the card down there, sellouts. I think you mentioned something this week. I don't know where you said it. Through the month of January, they had like most of the month sold out already for CMLL down there.
Well, yeah, for as far as Mystico, because he's in these main events. I think they ended up with about 17 or 18 sellouts in the month of January. And then this month it's continuing on. I think he's on some New Japan shows as well, and I think those are sold out too.
What's so exciting down there that people are just coming out to the shows? They're like, are the shows down there are really that engaging and really fun?
It's a combination. It's two things really. It's Mystico is just that fucking over. I mean, the guy is going to go down as just a historic draw. This run that he's been on, and it's crazy to think about too, because like in the same awards, he won the Wrestler of the Year award, and that's the first time he won the award since 2006. So there was like a 19-year gap.
Huh.
And this is the same guy who was on WWE television as nothing special. He was
Wrestling
there for a while. Light. Yep, Sin Cara. And then they had Sin Cara Black. Remember they had a second one? But
no wonder, I still remember. That's where Tony Khan got his fucking El Clone inspiration. Huh?
I still remember, though. Like, he had a match on Raw with Alberto Del Rio. And he broke his finger. It might have been his pinky finger. And, he's telling the referee he broke his finger. He can't go on anymore. And Del Rio was like, fucking broken finger, fuck this. And he starts like stomping the shit out of him. And he's like shooting on the guy and everything. And that was like a bad look for him. And his run was basically over at that point. He shit the bed in WWE. But he's made this miraculous comeback in terms of being a draw, down in Mexico. So it's him. But also, apparently, and I'm not like a CMLL expert, but like, you read up on like what is the draw there, and what it is they cater to families, and so you get a lot of these families who just love coming to now they run 3 times a week specifically at Arena Mexico, but like those Friday night shows, like that Friday night is their night, and like week after week, 16,000 people, and I don't know what the percentage is. It might be in the 20 or 30% range are tourists coming from outside the country, but it's just a lot of families. So it's not about like serious storylines. They just like to go and just watch the wrestling, and just have fun. They're meant to be fun. They don't allow blood in CMLL. It was rare when they had blood in that MJF match with Mystico. It meant more because they don't do blood down there. Nice. Because they just feel like it goes against the whole family dynamic. That's what it is. It's just meant to be a fun experience, and they just come to the building and have a good time.
That's a beautiful thing. I wish we had that up here. Honestly, bringing everybody together, enjoying the shows because they are fulfilling and meaningful. But Good luck with that. A lot of people were complaining about this being very biased, but, to be honest and to give, I don't want to give Dave credit, but I'm going to give him credit here. WWE won Promotion of the Year 2 times in a row the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And then
back-to-back years.
So,
back-to-back, yeah.
So their readers clearly know or know what's good and when it's good and what's bad when it's bad. So, no matter, listen, at the end of the day, I said it, AEW and WWE. What happened?
Well, Suplexus in the chat says, JD, your Promotion of the Year did not make the cut.
No, they did not. They didn't make the cut, man. Listen, I don't know where they ranked on the top of the Promotion of the Year list here, but I was going to say, all joking aside, WWE and AEW, to me personally, I know a lot of people as well feel the same way. There just wasn't anything engaging. I would not call them promotions of the year. And all because one was better than the other in terms of pro wrestling. I guess you can go that way and swing that way. But honestly, when it boils down to it, neither one of the companies here in the United States did enough to generate my interest. So it's great to see that type of love for pro wrestling down in Mexico, and CMLL won the Promotion of the Year.
Yeah, first time that a Mexican promotion has won the award since 1994.
Wow.
That's pretty crazy.
Wow.
Yep. Yep.
TNA, they took another increase in the ratings this week. I think they're up to like 255,000 now on
was that this week? Because
Yeah.
I know last week they were up to 241.
Yeah, they hit 254, I think, last week for last week's show.
Okay, so they're creeping up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're getting into that collision territory.
Well, look, I mean, it's good for them because I was surprised they didn't chase away more people after that horrendous first show. The fact that they've settled in and they're actually growing their audience is a positive.
You know what this means, man? Mr. Elegance is a draw.
Does that mean that Tommy Dreamer may be Booker of the Year next year?
Possibly. We'll watch the TNT Awards this coming December and find out.
Oh, boy.
Most underrated, Beast Mortos wins. Most underrated pro wrestler for the Wrestling Observer. Javon Evans, number 2. Commander, number 3. Brody King, number 4. And Ray Phoenix, number 5. Poor Ray Phoenix, huh? Beast Mortos, man. Good wrestler. I would say great wrestler, but, I mean, Tony uses him as a fucking jobber to the stars. I mean, that's why he's underrated.
Well, maybe
Take him over Danhausen, honestly. Beast Mortos. No, you want Danhausen in the teeth, huh?
I think the teeth will get over. I think that they can make a lot of money selling those. I guess they can't make glass. They can't sell glass jars, but little baggies with teeth.
Yeah, I could see that. I'm sure that's going to be the case.
Although knowing TKO, they'll sell them by the tooth. So one tooth will be like $15, and a gold tooth will be like 50.
It's making me wonder if it really is Danhausen. It's the Crate in Chicago CM Punk territory. They're very good friends. I don't know, man. It's probably
Danhausen and Punk. They've kept in touch. I'm sure they got very close. Yeah.
Beast Mortos won Most Underrated Wrestler of the Year. This is their Luthez / Ric Flair Award. Mystico, number 1. He got almost 3,300 votes. Adam Page, number 2. John Moxley, number 3. John Cena rounds out the number 5. Saya Kamatani comes in number 4. So Mystico wins the Pro Wrestler of the Year here. Again, not surprising with what CMLL did. So the Wrestling Observer listeners and readers swung that way for Mystico. Most Outstanding Wrestler, Konosuke Takeshita, number 1. Bandito, number 2. Fletcher, number 3. Will Ospreay, number 4. And Saray, number 5.
Yeah, I mean, Takeshita is fantastic. I mean, so is Bandito, but you get no argument out of me. Fletcher, I had on my list when I did my awards as the breakout star of the year.
Yeah, I agree with breakout. I can't argue with Takeshita. He is in today's day and age, especially with the new generation, the most perfect pro wrestler. I think he's fantastic. Best non-wrestler went to Don Callis. Number 2, Paul Heyman. Number 3, Stokely Hathaway. Number 4, Renee Paquette. And number 5, Prince Nana. I honestly think Renee should get more love here. I think Renee is like the MVP of Dynamite. She's all over the place, hardest working woman on that show.
I like Renee. And maybe it's too recent, although I think he's done really good work the entire time in the role. But Adam Pearce.
Yes, that's a good one. Don Callis is very good. He's a heat magnet. I think we joke that the Don Callis family is now kind of bordering on 18 members now on Wednesday nights. But Don Callis is great. And honestly, with Paul Heyman and the backseat that he took with the Vision and being in the Vision vortex, I'm not surprised that Don Callis won. So I get why they voted for Don Callis. You get no argument out of me there. Tag Team of the Year. This is where I do have a problem. The Young Bucks won Tag Team of the Year with 2,400 votes. They actually edged out FTR by 12 votes. 3. Mystico and Mascara Dorada. And how do you pronounce this before I say it? Neon?
Neon.
Neon. And Yuto Ice and Oscar, number 5.
Ah, yes.
Bro, Young Bucks Tag Team of the Year, I do not agree with that at all. I am going immediately with Brody and Bandito as number 1.
Yeah, I mean, Brodito was my number 1 for the year. Apparently, the only WWE team on the list was Fraxium, and they came in at number 7.
Well, they are the only team that would get any recognition from me. Outside that tag team division is horrid and gets no recognition whatsoever. Best gimmick went to Tony Storm. Number 2, Adam Page. Number 3, El Grande Americano. Number 4, Young Bucks. I guess that was the Broke Bucks thing that people were really kind of enamored by. And number 5, Joe Hendry.
Well, when El Grande Americano was number 3 on the list, it was not necessarily the strongest year when it comes to gimmicks. So,
no.
Tony Storm, look, I know there are some people who think it's kind of jumped the shark at this point, but she's fantastic. She finds a way to make it work. She's very entertaining. And really, in an age where we don't have as many gimmicks in wrestling, her still stands out because it's so far out there.
Yeah.
But she makes it work. I have no issue with her being number 1.
Yeah, I mean, she's still great. I know a lot of people want to see her a little bit better off, but I mean, she's been so dominating for the last 3 years. It's like, how long can she keep that up, and how long can AEW keep that up where they just run through the same people and keep the same people at the top? So I like that she's actually taken a backseat just a little bit. I don't know how they enhanced the gimmick or changed it from year to year to make it feel, I guess, a little refreshed. But she's still as entertaining as ever. And shout out to Kaiser, who has just taken ownage of that El Grande Americano gimmick. I mean, he's made it his own after Gable went down with the injury. And a lot of people were like, this is the best they got for Kaiser. But, you know, looking back at everything that happened with him and Imperium going away and him being split from Gunther, probably ended up being the best thing for his fucking career. So he made it his own. And shout out to him. He's done a great job with that. Best Booker. This is where things get a little dicey for people on social media. Tony Khan won Booker of the Year. Shocker there, I know, chat. We had, I guess, who is this? Taro Okada. Is he Stardom, Jason?
Yeah, Taro Okada is Stardom.
Okay. CMLL and the booking team there, number 3. Paul Levesque, number 4. And Deadlock Pro came in at number 5. Anthony Douglas, James Darnell, and John Blood. What the fuck? Man, TNA in the mud there, man. No TNA mention. And Tommy Dreamer.
Man.
You know?
Or NXT.
Or NXT. Shawn Michaels in the mud, too.
Deadlock Pro beat NXT. Holy shit. I wasn't expecting that.
Oh, my God. Listen, you think what you want. You know, everybody's got their own way to book things and what they like. Did AEW have better matches than WWE last year? Yes. That's unequivocally the answer is yes. Triple H, I don't know. Do you have any recollection, Jason, of where Triple H landed the last couple of years, being that he's taken over as head of creative?
Offhand, I do not know. Although I'm pretty sure he was number 1 a few years ago.
Well, last year was his worst year. So number 4, you know, I wouldn't even have him on the fucking list, to be quite honest with you, just to prove a point. But
yeah, I mean, again, I was not terribly inspired by a whole lot creatively last year, so I don't really have an issue with where things fell. I mean, I can't speak to the Stardom aspect of it, but business-wise, Stardom actually had a very good year. I think they might have actually had a better year than New Japan did. I mean, they're both under the same ownership. But yeah, no, I mean, I don't feel strongly one way or the other about this list.
Suplexus said Triple H won in 2023. That's, you know,
yeah,
that's a given there. That was great. But Yeah, the fact that Deadlock Pro came in at number 5, that's a little jarring there. So that's where the Wrestling Observer listeners have gravitated towards. Promotion of the year. This went to AEW, no question. So we got AEW number 1 there. I don't have the list of the top 5. Not that it really matters, but AEW won promotion of the, or actually, yeah. Do I have the promotion of the year here? What am I looking at?
I have something. I have the top 3.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, promotion of the year, CMLL number 1, AEW number 2, and Stardom number 3. And WWE was number 4 after coming in number 1 the previous 2 years.
Oh, I'm sorry. What I was looking at is worst promotion of the year. I
have that.
Yeah, WWE won worst promotion of the year.
Yes,
with 420 votes. NWA number 2, TNA number 3, GCW number 4, and AAA number 5.
And AEW was down at number 10.
Is that the very bottom of the list?
It is.
Okay.
They were the least worst.
Shocking information here coming from the Wrestling Observer.
The least worst of the year.
Worst feud of the year. This went to Max Caster and Anthony Bowens. Number 2 is John Cena versus Cody Rhodes, which didn't get enough votes for worst feud of the year. John Moxley versus Adam Copeland. I could see why that was up there. TNA versus NXT came in at number 4. And Cody Rhodes versus John Cena, Rock, and Travis Scott came in at number 5. That got 39 votes as worst feud of the year. Listen, John Cena and Cody Rhodes made this list twice. They were so terrible.
Well, you know what? It's well deserved. Although I'm wondering, how was that? Was that even a feud? Can you really call that a feud?
I don't know. I guess. Yeah, sure.
I think they were just so disgusted with it. They just said, we're going to put it on there twice.
All right, this one I could agree with. Worst match of the year, John Cena, Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania Night 2. 328 votes. StreamYard came up there for you. So there you go, before you get deleted again. Yes, John Cena, Cody Rhodes. That comes in at number 1. Minoru Suzuki versus Butterbean. This got 251 votes. Now, I have not been privy to this match yet after I heard so many negative things about it. I tried finding it today. I couldn't find it. So I may have to go and see how horrible this is. But John Cena, Cody Rhodes was pretty fucking bad. And you'd have to be pretty fucking bad to be worse than that. So,
and then number 3, I believe, was Brock Lesnar and John Cena from WrestlePalooza.
Yes, that came in at number 3. That's 70 votes. Butterbean and Suzuki at 251 votes. Cena, Rhodes at 328. Maki Ito and Mickey James apparently happened. It sounds like a GCW match. 68 votes coming in at number 4. Adam Copeland versus John Moxley at Revolution, I believe, came in at number 5.
That was very bad.
That was terrible.
That was very bad.
That was terrible.
Yeah, look, I saw a lot of negative feedback about the Butterbean Minoru Suzuki thing. I didn't even know about it.
I didn't know Butterbean was still fucking actively competing, to be quite honest with you.
I know he got himself in better shape with DDP Yoga because he was in rough shape there for a while, so I knew that. I just didn't know that he actually wrestled WrestleMania weekend last year. So now I am kind of morbidly curious to see this, although I don't know where I'm not, if it's as bad as people say it is, I'm certainly not going to fucking pay to see it. But, I mean, from what I've seen, Cena Brock, Cena Cody at WrestleMania, I mean, to me, the neck and neck right there.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Cena Cody was probably more egregious because that was number 17. And I think that just makes it so much worse.
Yes. I agree with all that. That was just, especially with the stage that it was given and the care that went into it, or the show. NXT, number 1. 401 votes. SmackDown, number 2, with 225 votes. TNA Impact, number 3, with 96 votes. NWA Power, number 4, with 94 votes. And AEW Collision rounds out the top 5 with 90 votes. Wow. I was surprised to not see Raw on this list. I thought we'd just go for the clean sweep from WWE, but Raw survived and didn't make the top 5.
Yeah, we had some more variety than I was expecting.
I guess the Wrestling Observer newsletter readers and listeners do not like NXT, huh?
They clearly, if you look at some of the categories, they're not a fan of NXT.
No. Most disgusting promotional tactic. Number 1, WWE bringing back Brock Lesnar at WrestlePalooza. Number 2, TKO, WWE UFC relationship in Saudi Arabia. Like that hasn't been a thing for the last, 6 years? TKO.
No, I mean, 6 years. I mean, they've had the relationship since 2018.
That's
it's almost a decade.
A decade. All right. Number 3, relationship with Donald Trump, TKO, WWE, UFC. Number 4, Raja Jackson incident and promotion advertising him on a show.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that this wasn't number 1 to me is just an absolute joke, because the way it's phrased, like the actual entry, it's not just the incident that happened. It was the fact that there was a promotion, an actual promotion that's based out on the West Coast that I think it was less than a week after it happened, put out a post, and it ended up being, it was trying to get attention, but they put out a post saying, we're bringing in Raja Jackson for an event. And of course, people thought that this was in poor taste because it was fucking stupid. They were trying to get attention. They got all the wrong attention. The venue where they were holding the event, and I guess didn't know if they were being serious or not, said, well, he's banned, so he ain't coming here. So how do you have that number 4 on this list and not number 1?
With only 54 votes, mind you.
Yeah. I mean, how does that
votes.
How does that happen?
Number 5, CM Punk apologizes to Saudi Arabia. Number 5, 44 votes.
Oh, well, that was John Cena's favorite moment ever in wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It warms his heart so much. It made him cry.
Ever in wrestling. That's his favorite moment.
Brock coming back to WWE should not be number 1. That's all I'll say there.
I mean, again, if we're talking most disgusting promotional tactic, how is that not number 1? Like, I don't understand. Thing I will never understand about this category. Do you realize that back in 1982, what won the award? Do you know what won the award in 1982?
No.
Bob Backlund as WWF champion. Was the most disgusting promotional tactic.
Did he win it in hostile territory and he shouldn't have won it?
No, at that point he had been the champion for probably 4 or 5 years by that point, and I think it was just people who were disgusted that Vince Sr. still had him as champion and wouldn't take the belt off him.
Such an awful fucking tactic, Bob Backlund for 5-year champion.
You mean to tell me the wrestling business in 1982 was so squeaky clean that you couldn't find something worse than that for worst promotional tactic?
I highly doubt that. But apparently the readers didn't like Brock Lesnar coming back at SummerSlam and Wrestling Cena at WrestlePalooza. Speaking of WrestlePalooza, they won worst major wrestling show with 249 votes. Survivor Series came in at number 2 with 233 votes. WrestleMania Night 2, 110 votes, number 3. GCW, The People versus GCW, came in at number 4 with 36 votes. And Night of Champions, that was John Cena and CM Punk in Saudi, 29 votes at number 5. Was WrestlePalooza worthy of the number 1 worst wrestling show of the year, Jason?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was pretty high up there. I mean, I don't know what would you rank above it. Is there a show that jumps out at you from last year? Like, absolutely, this is number 1. Worst of the year.
I mean, Survivor Series was pretty fucking bad. WrestleMania was terrible. SummerSlam was terrible.
But WrestlePalooza and all of the hype around it, right? And then Brock and Cena going the way it did, Cody and Drew. I mean, it wasn't a terrible match, but I remember being kind of underwhelmed by that. And then it was really, I guess, about the mixed tag match. And then I don't even remember what the other match or matches were.
Stephanie versus Io.
All right, well, that was actually very good.
Yeah. Was there a fifth match on that show? There was a fifth match.
I don't even know if there was a fifth match. I mean, these fucking 4-match PLEs. I don't even know if there was a fifth match.
Was there a fifth match on that show that we don't know?
I don't remember.
I don't know. Listen, I can't disagree with any of these. WWE had a terrible PLE year. Nothing felt premium. So
Yeah.
I agree with what they said here. I did not see GCW.
Okay, yes. Usos.
Oh
against
yeah.
Vision.
Oh, that wasn't that bad.
I don't know. For their first big ESPN event, it was the disappointment. And even ESPN gave it a D or an F or whatever.
Yeah, they gave it a D. Yeah.
That's right.
Best major wrestling show, All In, Texas, 404 votes, number 1. Double or Nothing, number 2, 287 votes. Stardom All-Star Grand Queendom, number 3, 101 votes. Revolution comes in number 4, 90 votes. And All Out, number 5, with 29 votes. I disagree with this wholeheartedly. I do not think All In was the best wrestling show of the year.
I had Double or Nothing, honestly, as my wrestling show of the year, and then Chamber was my number 2.
Yeah.
And here I think the Chamber came in at number 6 on the list. I had Double or Nothing number 1.
Now, I had Chamber number 1. I thought All In was, for the first half of that show until we got to the Ospreay Swerve Bucks match, I didn't even feel like the show began, honestly, until that match. I felt like it was fucking boring. The second half of the show was a lot better than the first half, but Elimination Chamber was mine, and I would actually put Revolution at number 2. I thought it was better than Double or Nothing.
Where was Evolution on that list?
I only have the top 5. I don't know. That's a good question.
Not even top 5.
Oh, no. You mean the Observer readers are going to give Evolution some praise?
Well, I mean, their standards are very high. That's why Stardom, I guess, was number 3. But Evolution was definitely one of the best shows of the year.
I agree there. Worst television announcer, Booker T. He steals this entire voting with 516 votes at number 1.
Oh, my God.
Pat McAfee, number 2, with 123. Michael Cole, 102 votes at number 3. Vic Joseph, number 4, with 45 votes. And Tony Schiavone, who is very, very low on this list. He'd be my number 1. Tony Schiavone comes in at number 5 with 40 votes. Bro, Booker T got 516 votes. This publication hates NXT.
Well, not only that, I mean, this was the 3rd straight year that Booker won the award. So clearly, I mean, they are not a fan of Booker T on NXT, who at least he tries to be entertaining on commentary. I mean, you ever saw him when Trick Williams would come out and he'd be singing his song and everything like that. He would go overboard with the whole, Devil's Kiss thing with Stephanie. But yeah, I mean, they obviously got a hard on for this guy. To say that he's the worst is I disagree with that. But then again, I also think back, it's the Observer readership, and for years, who came in? Actually, Booker shouldn't feel too bad about that, because you know who he shares company with, who won the award multiple years in a row, many, many, many years ago?
Oh.
And I can't even believe this. Gorilla Monsoon.
That is actually a fucking sin of all.
Because probably, the purist, he would, on commentary, he would like talk about parts of the body and the anatomy and stuff. And who knows? He was probably making up half the shit. And probably the purists and the traditionalists, they didn't like it. They didn't like his style of commentary. I grew up on it. Gorilla Monsoon is one of the best fucking commentators that I've ever listened to on a wrestling show. Like Gorilla and Jesse, Gorilla and Bobby. Like, to me, those right there, Bobby and Gorilla number 1, Gorilla and Jesse number 2, all time. I have JR and King behind them. Like, how are you going to vote Gorilla Monsoon as the worst announcer in wrestling multiple years?
I don't know. The Observer readers are fucking, they got to be the most elitist of the elites. Like, come on, bro. That's ridiculous.
So and I'm sure Booker doesn't give a shit anyway. But,
no, Booker came out and said something. I don't have the quote. I know MJF came out, publicly defended Booker T. Sam Roberts came out. I know Swerve has a problem with Booker T. I don't know where that stems from. There was something back and forth between them today. Yeah, a lot of people came to Booker T's defense in the chat. You guys watch NXT more than we do. Jason and I don't watch it on a weekly basis anymore. It's just not my type of show anymore, personally. A lot of you guys say Booker T gets a lot of these talents over. And that goes in hand with what Jason said, Stephanie Vaquer and Trick Williams. And, he might not be the most analytical fucking guy, but, when he wants to be serious, he's somebody that should be taken seriously. But he also likes to have fun. And if you're not having fun at your job, I don't even know why the fuck you're there, honestly. So, listen, he was not even supposed to be there. Honestly, he was not supposed to be there from the very beginning. He was a fill-in, and he stayed with it. He's there because he loves it. So I don't know if I agree with it. Tony Schiavone's not my number one. Excalibur's terrible. So you'll never see those votes coming on here on this award show, but it is what it is. Michael Cole actually came in number 3, which leads me to the best television announcer, the Jim Ross Award. Michael Cole comes in at number 3 on the worst, but comes in at number 5 on the best, which is very confusing to me. Nigel, number 4. Excalibur, number 3. Walker Stewart from New Japan, number 2. And Bryan Danielson comes in at number 1 with 315 votes. He's not even there half the time. What the hell is he number 1?
Walker Stewart is very, very good. Like you would listen to him on commentary, and I know he does some independent commentary as well, but he's really the voice of New Japan. And he's very good, and he's very young. You would be surprised to find out how young he is, but I agree with him being pretty high up on that list. I think he's very good.
I don't know where Corey Graves was slotted in here.
Yeah, Corey Graves should have been higher. I think he was at like number 8, I think, which was too low, in my opinion.
Yeah, he should easily be top 5 at least.
Yes. He should definly be up there. And Wade Barrett's also very good.
Yes, Wade Barrett's good. I love Corey's work. Joe Test did a very good job this year for first full-time year. I don't know why he's not on the list higher.
I think he was number 9, I think.
That's ridiculous. For someone who never did pro wrestling commentary before, I think he's very good.
You know, actually, somebody mentioned that in the chat, and I agree. Tom Hannafin does a very good job in TNA.
Yes, he's always been good. I don't know, I don't know why he wasn't higher on the list. He's also very good at what he does. Most overrated. Jey Uso, number 1 with 322 votes. CM Punk, number 2 with 177 votes. Jade Cargill, number 3, 89 votes. Evil, number 4 with 44 votes. And Seth Rollins, number 5 with 42 votes.
God, maybe it's evil in the crate.
Could be. Could be.
But he can't be evil anymore. He's got to be good.
Yes. Most improved. Harley Cameron, number 1, 208 votes. Kyle Fletcher, number 2 with 151. Kendall Gray, 93. At number 3, Marina Shafir, number 4 with 78 votes. And Kevin Knight comes in number 5 with 57 votes.
I have no idea how Raquel Rodriguez did not make the top 10.
Yeah, that's pretty surprising.
I had her as my number 1 in my awards, and she wasn't even in the top 10 here.
I don't know if I would put Harley Cameron at number 1 here for most improved.
No.
I would actually, to be quite honest with you, now I'm looking at the list and just based off the top 5, I would put Marina Shafir at number higher than Harley Cameron, just based off the character work and what the Death Riders have done for Marina. I feel like she's a lot better off today than she was 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So that's that. Feud of the year. Adam Page versus Jon Moxley, number 1 with 504 votes. We got Kamitani versus Nakano at number 2, 148 votes. Mystico versus MJF at number 3 with 113 votes. Tony Storm versus Mariah May, number 4 with 84 votes. And CM Punk versus Seth Rollins, number 5 with 74 votes.
Tony and Mariah should be much higher than that.
You know, everybody's going to vote Page and Moxley with the allure of him winning in the way that he did it all in. It's not Feud of the Year. He won a tournament, and they didn't really do much of anything but build him to win the World Championship because he needed to win the World Championship. There was really no story there. I don't know. I don't know. My Feud of the Year, I can't even pinpoint what the Feud of the Year for me would be. Tony Storm Mariah's definitely got to be up in the top 2 at least.
Yeah, I mean, that's just too low. Somebody in the chat also just said on that subject that apparently Blake Monroe is in the speed tournament.
Well, they can fucking kick rocks with that decision.
Yeah.
What the fuck are they doing with her down there? My God.
I have no idea.
Holy shit. So that's Feud of the Year. Best weekly television show. Shocker here, folks. Dynamite won with 4,655 votes.
Wow.
CMLL, number 2 with 2,058. Collision, number 3, 1,600 votes. Number 4, Raw, 1,500. And SmackDown, number 5 with 666 votes. I don't think SmackDown should be anywhere near Best Weekly Show. What the fuck are we doing?
No, SmackDown should be the worst weekly show. because for much of the year, it was absolute garbage.
Collision's rather high on that list, no?
Was it number 3?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, again, I'm not watching it every single week. When I watch it, there's good wrestling on the show. It's just, it doesn't come off as an important show.
No.
So, but given the audience that was voting, if they're looking for just great wrestling matches on the show, then it probably belongs in the top 3. I can't speak to the CMLL show, but yeah, I mean, again, you just got to consider who's voting on this.
Best on interviews, Adam Page, number 1 with 2,700 votes. Jon Moxley, number 2 with 1,500 votes. Number 3, Tony Storm, 1,378. CM Punk, number 4, 1,219. And MJF at number 5 with 816. MJF is not better on interviews than Adam Page? What? CM Punk is not better than Adam Page?
I had Punk. I think I had Punk at number 1 on my list, and I got some shit from some people for not having Tony in that spot. I think I had Tony at number 2. So for me, Punk should be, because look, I mean, Punk, the one thing you could say about his ring work, people are like, oh, he's washed or, whatever. But the guy knows how to control the microphone. When you give him the right person to kind of feud with and the right material there, he knows, how to go out there and cut a great promo. That hasn't changed. So I would have him at my number 1. I have no idea how MJF is, what would you say, number 5?
Number 5 with 816 votes.
And who was 4?
Punk.
Punk was 4.
Tony Storm was number 3. Jon Moxley was number 2. And Adam Page was number 1. He blew away everybody else in the category.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
I don't know. And finally went with this match of the year for the Observer Newsletter Awards here. Kenny Omega versus Gabe Kidd at Wrestle Kingdom. 1,728 votes, number 1. Bandito versus Konosuke Takeshita. I'm assuming that was their Ring of Honor main event. 1,589 votes, number 2. Adam Page versus Jon Moxley at All In. 1,417, number 3. Mystico versus MJF, number 4. 1,051, and Adam Page versus Will Ospreay at Double or Nothing, 913 votes, number 5.
Yeah, the only WWE match that made the top 10 was the Triple Threat Women's match from WrestleMania. That came in at number 8 on the entire list.
Meanwhile, I personally thought the main event of night 1 was the best match of the year, and I'm assuming it didn't make the list because CM Punk was a part of it. So
I don't know. Well, I had the women's triple threat as my match.
That's fine. I'm not going to argue with that. I just enjoyed the story more so in the night 1 main event. But the fact that neither one of that women's match didn't make the top 5?
Number 8. Number 8. Although I will say the MJF Mystico match was definitely one of the best matches of the year. I mean, all the heat they had, and we talked about how over Mystico is. I mean, that was the rematch they had at Arena Mexico. I mean, the first one was at Arena Mexico, too. I think they did that on Grand Slam. But this was the 92nd anniversary show in September, and it was the match where I think in the first, 2 minutes of the match, Mystico was bleeding, which you never see in CMLL, and they just had this really dramatic, match that the fans were into, and MJF lost the belt, back to him. And, I have no issue with that match being high up on the list, but how that women's triple threat is so low is I can't take that seriously.
Man, out of all the awards that we went through, I think the bias really shows in that. How John Cena, AJ Styles didn't make the list. How Cody Cena at SummerSlam didn't make the list. How that night 1 main event didn't make the list. I know I'm forgetting something else that happened on a PLE. I think WWE.
But see, you just named a whole bunch of. The list is not going to be populated by majority WWE matches. Because a lot of the people that are voting on these awards, the WWE style of match is not what they're into. And there are a lot of other great wrestling matches out there. So the question is, when you decide on what makes the best match, what goes into that? Does the fact that there's a title on the line in the main event of WrestleMania, does that factor into it? Or are you just looking for just what you think is a great in-ring wrestling match? I feel like it's just a very subjective thing, and people will have different criteria. Is the match important or is it not? Is it on a big show or is it on TV? It depends.
I honestly think Rhea and Io at Evolution is better than every match on this list.
I don't disagree. I mean, that was one of my favorite matches of the entire year.
Yeah.
That was fucking phenomenal, which is why I wouldn't mind seeing it again at WrestleMania this year.
Me too. Omega gave Kid one match of the year. I'm assuming a lot of people were just happy Omega was back. He was on death's door with diverticulitis. So the fact that he came back and wrestled the way that he did against Gabe Kidd was a testament in itself. So I'm assuming people really were proud of that, to see Omega back wrestling like the old Kenny Omega. So he won number one there.
Incredible, says Vic Joseph called Booker T an award-winning commentator.
Boy, they're really bothered by those awards, aren't they?
Oh, did you hear last night during Raw what Corey said to Cole?
Yes, I did. They laughed about it.
Yeah, you go, oh, you should have a newsletter.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you for a great show tonight. I believe we had up to 2,900 people in here by my
3,000. Yeah,
did we? Look at that, another 3,000 week. Thank you guys very much. We need 120 likes for 1,000 likes. If you guys want to get that in on here, please do that. That helps us out tremendously. And also leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of tonight's big stories that Jason and I both went over. I've been trying my best and I've been keeping up on it. Timestamps will be in the description at the end of the show. I have to go back and transcribe everything and give you guys the chapters, but I've heard nothing but excellent feedback as far as that is concerned. I'm going to keep that up for you guys. So thank you very much.
So there's a match that has been announced for Dynamite tomorrow night.
Okay.
It is a 4-way match for the TBS Championship. So it will be Willow defending against Megan Bayne, Marina Shafir, and Mina Shirakawa.
You know what? Megan Bayne needs to become the new TBS champion.
I agree.
See what happens with that. Jason will be live. I will be live with Jesse talking Dynamite. So tune in to that. Again, thumbs up, comments, super chats. Let's get into them. We're going to start at the top here. We had Havili come in, so we read through Havili. Havili, thank you. If you're still watching or watching after the fact, love you, brother. Thank you for being here. We got a $4.99 from Bork Laser 89. Why is SRS so ignorant? I commented on one of his posts about the crate maybe being Jericho, and he goes, he's still with AEW, you moron. LOL. Like, what the fuck? Well, I don't know. Maybe he put out a report saying that Jericho's contract was frozen. So maybe he had a bad day. People like you were coming at him at all different angles. I don't know. People have bad days, Bork. Michael Krause with it too. JD, Jason, OTS, TNT, the best. Let's go. Yeah. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Michael.
Olivia. JD Solo, I hope you're well. Are you going to watch Rusev on Chris Van Vliet? I have not yet.
I've seen parts of it. I haven't seen the entire thing yet. I was amused at the part where he said the reason he left to come back to WWE is because he wanted to wrestle more and more. And he has had, I believe, outside of his 30-second cameo in the Royal Rumble, 2 matches so far this year. And they have both, I think they've both been against, God, who was it? Someone on Main Event. And then in December, he had 1 match all month against Otis on Main Event.
Well, you know, see, he will be feuding with Obafemi, you see, next. Maybe.
I saw the glare when he stared him down, and can you call it a feud if it's just going to be a one and done?
I call it a burial. An early burial. Havili, thank you, brother.
Well, it's a good thing they have a crate then, because when they're done, they could put them in the crate and they could ship them off.
Yes. Nate with a $10 super chat. I just wanted to wish Daphne the ref best wishes and prayers for family. Just heard she's not been on TV lately. And have you seen new photos of Lola with her AAA title? It's definitely Goon Hall of Fame worthy. I have not seen Lola, but yes, prayers and well wishes to Daphne. Her story was heartbreaking to read. So hopefully everything is going to be right there. Johnny Boy Vaccaro with a 20. The box reveals a small box, then reveals a smaller box with Hornswoggle revealed, dressed as Jericho, would break the walls down playing, then does an HBK pose, pointing to the Tron for Jericho to appear. LOL. I'm pretty sure that would be more entertaining than whatever Triple H has coming out of the box on the 28th.
Put a lot of thought into that.
Yeah. Havili comes in with a 20. Solo, with everyone leaving New Japan, is it because of pay cut or they don't want to work for Tanahashi? Has Sonata left also or having a break? Would Alexa Bliss join the Wyatt Six if Bray didn't pass away? Thank you for everything you guys do. So I'll start with this, Jason. Everyone leaving New Japan, is it because of pay cut, or do they not want to work for Tanahashi?
I haven't heard anything about them not wanting to work for Tanahashi. I think a lot of it just comes down to finances. I think they will make more money if they come to the States, and so they have to weigh that decision. So New Japan just can't afford to keep all these big names. That's why they've lost so many of them. We kind of joke like Tony Khan has taken all of the big names from New Japan. I mean, it's not like he put a Zorro mask on and snuck into the New Japan offices and stole them. I mean, it's like they had to make a decision to leave, because they have their reasons for it. So they've lost a lot of people, and David Finlay, it's a very good chance he's in the process of deciding what he wants to do. He may end up in WWE.
I think that would be best for him. Sonata, has he left or is he having a break?
He had announced previously that he was taking a sabbatical. So he's taking time off.
And would Bliss join the Wyatt Six if Bray didn't pass away? Thank you for everything you guys do. I think so, yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. Michelle with the 2. If Jericho isn't in the box, will it be a failure? It will be disappointing. I'm assuming the IWC will have a meltdown and people will shit all over it. Yes. Also, she says, has Triple H sacrificed Story for money? I don't know if he sacrificed Story for money, but I would say the moment for sure, yeah. He doesn't like stories anymore.
You can make money and still tell good stories.
Yes, I know. Raging Girl Gamer with 63 months. What's up, JD? 5 years as a member. Man, time flies. Also, Natty is a beast. She's way better than Charlotte at this point. Put the title on her. No, Natty. I don't.
They have done exactly the thing that I did not want them to do. I feel vindicated now.
What did they do?
Well, I mean, when we were first talking a few months ago about the idea of bringing the whole Bloodsport Natty gimmick to television, I said my reservations are that they're not going to do it right. And so now we've had this version of her for at least a month and a half, whatever it's been. And she's out there in the ring last night with Bayley and Asuka, and again, she's getting no reactions, and she's losing. She has yet to win a match since she had this gimmick makeover. As long as
they show the camera up close to her with her mouthpiece in,
yeah. So I guess they think that's enough. I mean, fuck me. I think you probably should win a few matches, but what do I know?
Her mock Rage Against the Machine Death Rebel theme music. Bossmo Jackson with a $50 super chat. Thank you, Jackson. What's up, my brothers from another mother? Glad to be here tonight on the stream. It's always good and a fun night when JD and Solo are in the house. I agree.
Hell yeah.
I agree. Hollywood guy with a $5 super chat. JD or Solo, if there was a way to buy Trick's lemon pepper steppers, which one of you guys would be the one?
I kind of feel like they would look good on me. And it just comes down to how much they're selling for.
Yeah, I'm going to go Jason. I'm not a big dress shoe guy.
Here's what I think. I think that I would go for the lemon pepper steppers, and JD, with all of his fortune, would buy the $16 million Pokemon card at auction that Logan Paul sold.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Did you hear about that story? This is the whole story that people got scammed.
Oh, no. They got scammed. How they get scammed? It was a legitimate auction.
It was a legitimate auction. There's a lot of people that came out saying that Logan Paul scammed them because he had a liquid market website, and apparently people bought in to own a piece of the card, and then the website closed down, and those people never saw their money again. And then he apparently got the card back, and he sold shares for cheaper than people had bought in for, and they never seen their money.
That's like the Crypto Zoo scandal.
Yeah, almost the same thing, yeah. So I don't know why people continue to do business with him, but that card is estimated value at almost $17 million because of what he bedazzled it with jewels and a fucking poker ball made of yellow and red stones. It's crazy. It's ridiculous. Havili with a 5. I meant Elias versus The Undertaker instead of Goldberg versus Undertaker. Besides Mankind, which of the other characters won WWE Champion? Dude Love or Cactus Jack? Elias versus Undertaker? I don't remember ever hearing that taking place, or should be taking place. I don't remember.
not on a major show. Not that I can recall.
No. And besides Mankind, which of other character won
Wasn't there an angle? Did they not do a segment on TV maybe where he gave him a chokeslam or a tombstone? Or
Didn't he come out and wrestle before John Cena came in at that WrestleMania? Wasn't it Elias there? Remember when Cena sat in the crowd?
Yes.
Wasn't it Elias?
Yes.
I don't know if he's mentioned in that. I don't know. But Undertaker wrestled Goldberg in Saudi.
Come to think of it, I think Elias worked with Cena twice at WrestleMania because he did again the following year when Cena came out as the Doctor of Thugonomics.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't know Havili.
It's Elijah, by the way. Now you got to get it right.
Sure.
Hello, I am Elijah.
Sure, I should know. That's my promotion of the year, right?
That's right. You see, it's very disappointing that you didn't know that.
Besides Mankind, which other WWE character won WWE Champion? Dude or Cactus Jack?
Neither one. Never won the WWE title.
Thank you, Havili. B. Hutta with a $4.99. Javon needs to give his moves names. It feels like commentary on his matches gets pockets of silence because they don't know what to call it.
Well, I mean, he's got that one kick, the red dot, which is that twisting kick he does off the ropes.
Yeah.
He's got the OG cutter. And everything else is just, it's
fundamental.
A flip or a moonsault
or frog splash.
Yeah.
Lord Maestro with a $4.99. What's up, fellas? Just wanted to show some love. Please call me Chris instead of my user. Do you think Adam Cole would have fared better if he stayed in WWE? I think so, Chris. I don't know what Jason thinks, but I do think Triple H would have taken care of him pretty well.
As far as
Adam Cole staying in WWE.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder about that. Like long term, if they would have really pushed him as a main eventer, I do wonder if his size would have worked against him in the ring with guys that were so much bigger than him.
Yeah,
like him in the ring with like Drew McIntyre.
Yeah,
like I don't know.
Yeah, it's the problem that we're having with Carmelo Hayes now. He's got all the talent in the world, but it's going to be his size that gets him where he's got to go. Hollywood guy with a 5. Buy, sell, or retire. NWO Black and White. Evolution with the Don Callis family.
Buy the NWO. Rent on Evolution. And sell on the Callis family.
I agree. Bays Beers with a $5 super chat. YouTube had an outage tonight. I just got back on. Might affect the viewership numbers tonight, maybe not. Just a heads up, it's trending online. Well, Bays Beers, we had almost 3,000 in here, so fuck the YouTube outage, says TNT. Also, he says, going on the subscription tab helped refresh YouTube. Well, hopefully everything is normalized now because...
did they say, have they announced yet what caused the outage?
You know what that's going to mean? I won't be able to put ads in the video after the video goes on demand. That's what going to mean.
Probably.
It'll be grayed out, so I can't do it until fucking 48 hours later. True Crime Unleashed with a $2 super chat. Black vs. Orton being set up for Mania 42. It sucks. Well, we don't know yet. Let's give it some time to marinate, but I personally do not want it. Uh-oh. Demeter Bullion Doggy with a $14.99. On Raw backstage, AJ tells Finn if he doesn't beat Punk, he should retire too. Finn loses and retires next Monday. AJ comes out to embrace. Finn brutally attacks AJ, leading to unsanctioned match at Mania. Wow.
That's actually maybe the most thought out super chat that I've ever heard from Demeter. That's not a bad idea.
It's actually not a bad idea.
If it's non-sanctioned, then technically he's not on retiring.
We will see what happens with AJ. He's getting a tribute on Raw, but thank you, Demeter. See, when Demeter wants to actually speak logically, man, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, when Demeter is on his meds, man, he is on point.
Look crazy. Toya, $5 super chat. Is it great to be alive on a Tuesday night with TNT or what? I love it. Yes, Toya. Always. Thank you. Bossmo Jackson with the $4.99. Whatever happened to jobber matches with local guys? We don't see those matches anymore. I don't like seeing stars squashed unnecessary.
Well, TKO doesn't want to pay them the $500 to come in and do a job. So.
Yes, there you go. That answered all your questions. Graps with a $4.99. True or false? AEW is more interesting right now with where they can go. I don't know. It's a toss-up.
Where they can potentially go? Yeah. I don't think that's a stretch to say that. There's some potentially great matches they could put together. Now, whether or not we get them or not, we'll see.
Yeah. A lot of it hinges on AJ Styles, where he's going. Will Ospreay coming back? Is he going to be back in time? I mean, like I said before, if they can get AJ and Omega on that show with Ospreay and MJF, sellout of Wembley. Guaranteed. J-Ray with a 10. Despite his review, I'm sure JD loved Raw due to the long, drawn-out dialogue. Punk and Finn's promo was pointless. Becky and AJ was cringe again, and Stephanie making Liv cry with her Spanish. Hilarious. Sounds like J-Ray didn't watch my review last night. I would not comment if you don't know what you're talking about, man. Thank you for the $10 super chat. I am not a fan of WWE at the moment. At all. Graps with a $1.99. Brie Bella is coming out of the box. Jason's going to love that if that's the case.
Let's not float any ideas here, please. Can we not do that?
Caden with a $1.99. JD Solo. When do we get Julia versus Io one-on-one?
Well, Io did tease on Friday. There was like that backstage segment after Julia lost, and she was kind of having a nervous breakdown. And they interrupted, her and Kiana interrupted Io and Rhea. And Io looked over at the U.S. title and said, maybe I'll fight for that. So I don't know if that's leading to something or not. She's technically on Raw.
Yeah. She's tag team champion, so she can show up wherever she wants.
Yeah, but that's to defend the tag team titles.
That's where the rules get grayed. They need all the help that they could get, so I'm pretty sure that Io is going to be welcomed on SmackDown. Jerry with the $10 super chat. Sean Ross App for Fightful just reported that Jericho's deal with AEW is frozen. I highly doubt Jericho will appear at the Chamber, and Jericho's not in the box, so let's stop that narrative. Well, thank you, Jerry. If you watch TNT, you would have heard us talk about it. And give an idea of who may be in the box. Devin in the chat. I don't know what Jason's doing. I am not buying 2K26. Not for $150 anyway.
Yeah, when you told me how much it was, I thought you were joking.
No.
And then it was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And that's probably not, I don't even know if that's the most expensive version.
The $150 version is the most expensive.
Well, that's still too expensive.
Yes.
I mean, that's just, is the game going to be radically different from what it was last year?
No.
Is it going to be that, like, more game modes and special features that I'm not aware of?
No, they're not making it for the past generation console, so it's only going to be like the current consoles, like PS5 and Switch 2 is getting one, I believe.
Well, Steam, no?
Steam, of course, yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well, look, I mean, if somebody ends up with a spare code and they want to supply it, then maybe we'll get some sound off gamer action going on.
There you go.
Yeah.
Furious Nation with the 499. What's up, JD Soul? So apparently Jericho is freezed by TK. Petty Tony strikes again. He must be that scared of Jericho going to the E. It's a shame. Listen. It is what it is. Am I going to live and die by Jericho showing up on TV for WrestleMania season? No, I'm not. Graps with a 199. Tony blocking Y2J for Mania season is payback. He's been known to do that. Bossmo Jackson with a 199. What does the speed title even mean? It's weird. It means that they hate pro wrestling because the little that they actually give the women or whoever is wrestling for it time to wrestle is comical. I wish they'd get rid of it. Triple M in the chat says, Sully, you can have my 2K26 Steam copy.
Oh, thank you, bud.
There you go.
I appreciate that.
Bossmo Jackson, thank you. Nathan Cox with a 199. Fuck Brody King, no politics in wrestling. You are allowed to have your opinion, and Brody is allowed to have his. So I'll leave it at that. Bossmo Jackson with a 199. Solo, what's your biggest gripes with these shows?
Which shows are we talking about? I mean,
I guess the weekly shows.
I think we've been kind of touching on it off and on for the last 4 hours here. I mean, there's a lot of different issues with all of the shows in terms of there not being. It's weird. Like in AEW, there could be too much wrestling sometimes, where it's almost overwhelming in the absence of having other segments to kind of break things up. In WWE, sometimes, like Raw a few weeks ago, we had like, God, what was it, like 2 or 3 matches in 2.5 hours?
Yeah,
or something ridiculous like that. So that's annoying. But I mean, there's just so many annoying things about the way the shows are formatted, especially on the WWE side, and how formulaic it really is. There's also this aspect of just, you mentioned predictability, but also it just feels like I'm watching the movie Groundhog Day sometimes, where I feel like I've been watching the same feuds with the same people for so long, and nothing ever really advances, nothing changes. And then you also have people who are featured on the shows as like top stars who just aren't there week to week. And so it's hard to advance those stories when those people aren't around.
Yeah.
You know, and that becomes an issue during WrestleMania season with some of these guys. We kind of saw that with John Cena last year.
I'm over the brand split. I wish they'd just get rid of it. I know it's never going to happen. I feel like that would make the shows better. And these PLEs, you got to have at least 6 matches minimum on these PLEs. For a major show, 7.
I'd say 6 is a good number.
Yeah.
I'd say 6 is a good number.
Graps with a 499. Saw McMahon wrestle God, Muhammad Hassan attack Taker, Slaughter becoming Iraqi, but we draw the line for politics at Brody King. Different day and age, brother. Different day and age. Edward with a 499. Solo mixing up disemboweled and disembodied last night on his stream made me laugh so hard. I almost wrecked. Love you both. Keep up the great work.
Yeah, I didn't even realize they did that. I was talking like at the beginning of the show when the Usos were coming through the crowd, and then we heard Paul Heyman's voice, and I said, "Oh," I said the disemboweled voice. Yeah, I didn't even realize what I had said, and people in the chat are going nuts and losing their minds. I'm like, what? What did I say? You said disemboweled voice of Paul Heyman. And I couldn't think of the word.
It's pretty different. So Paul Heyman came out to the staging and got disemboweled in front of Memphis, Tennessee. Wow,
it's part of Danhausen's debut before he arrives in the crate.
There you go, Edward. The Dunko with a 199. What about Oba? What about him? He's great.
Oh man.
Leopoldo with a $5.
He was not disemboweled.
No, Oba was not disemboweled. No. Leopoldo with a $5 super chat. Jay looked like a dog waiting for a treat when his song got interrupted by the Vision. When do I get my snack? When are we running it back? Yeah. Listen, they tried something different, and they ended up going right back to it anyway. So, it is what it is. Ray Reezy with a $9.99. All the wrestlers Triple H buried in his WWE in-ring career are in the crate. Can they fit in there?
The crate's, I was going to say, the crate's not big enough.
Mid-range with a $2.99. JD, what's in Tony Khan's cup? Time cop. Listen, man, if I ever get a chance to ask Tony Khan a question ever again, that's my first question. Tony, what's in the cup? Because I'm a big coffee guy. I got to know what his coffee go-to beverage is.
Well, you're assuming it's coffee.
What else would it be?
I mean, it could be any number of things. He's always so alert and awake. I mean, it could.
He's not drinking on the job. Maybe he is. I don't know. Base Beers for the 2. John Laurinaitis is in the box. People power. Bro, you gonna line up to go get an autograph from Johnny Ace when he goes to his convention?
Yeah, he's coming out of his hole, and he's going to be at the Big Time Wrestling event next month. And he's doing a signing, and he's part of the event. He shot a little promo video on social media. People power. I didn't want to see Johnny Ace on TV when he was on television every week. I certainly don't want to see him now.
Will there be anybody in his line?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. It's just like the people, Vince came out the next week, they'd be bowing.
Yeah. Sidro, 41 months. A young woman is on trial for beating her husband with guitars. Judge asked, first offender? She says, no, judge. First a Gibson, then offender. Much love, he says. Thank you, Sidro. Don Vanucci with a 42 months. I found the band for that Beat It cover you've been playing, JD. A Polish cover band called, and I'm going to butcher this, Prize Wayne, meaning wind-blown turkeys, TNT for life. I don't know if that is the name of the band, bro. This is very much an AI-generated cover. Alex with a $10 super chat. Brother JD and Solo, buy, rent, sell on your favorite non-Money in the Bank ladder match. Christian and Edge versus the Hardys, No Mercy 99. Razor Ramon and HBK SummerSlam 95. Edge versus Jeff Hardy, Extreme Rules 09.
That's an easy one for me. So Razor and Sean, I'm buying on that. I actually like that ladder match better than their first one. The second one would be Edge and Christian against the Hardys and No Mercy, and then the Edge one that you mentioned. I sell that one.
Buy on the Edge Christian Hardys, rent on Ramon, Shawn Michaels, SummerSlam, and then sell on Hardy and Edge at Extreme Rules. Zeno with a $5 super chat. Solo, do you remember when Jey Uso turned heel for like 4 seconds? What happened to that?
No yeet.
No yeet. Triple M with a $2 super chat. Rest in peace, High Guard / Low Guard. LOL. Yeah, I heard the game died. That's what happens.
There was something on X that said there were 600 players left, I guess, in the Steam lobby or something.
Dr. Disrespect that more people playing more people watching and play the game than they were actually playing the game. Oh my God. Thank you, Triple M. Lenin Jimenez with a 20 Mexican pesos. Vince is in the box. I don't think there are people that want this, but no. I do not want to see it at all. Jericho with a 5. The man in the box is clearly going to be the Lock from WWE 2K My Rise.
Oh, the Lock. Remember those days.
The Lock? Who's that? Is that a guy?
That was my character.
Okay.
I called myself the Lock, and I had a lock around my neck. That was my character.
Hollywood guy with a $5 super chat. My cousin went to a show and he wanted to do a meet and greet. The meet and greet costs $770. It does not include the ticket for the show. Who the fuck is he meeting and greeting for $770?
Is he talking? Is this WrestleMania or is this
I don't know.
Something else?
I don't know. Leopoldo with a 2. WWE's return to Vegas is looking more like a rerun. Yeah.
It's a sequel. We know how great sequels usually are.
Yeah, not good at all. Scotty with a 199. Told you the Demon will return at Mania weeks ago. I hope so. Demon versus Dominic for the IC title. Base Bears with a 5. How do people even get front row seats? These big shows sell out those tickets in 30 seconds. You got to know who you got to know.
You got to have a connection. How do you think Green Shirt guy always gets in the same spot?
Always.
Think it's luck?
Could have swore I saw Green Shirt guy in the front row, but it wasn't actually Green Shirt guy. It was somebody cosplaying as him yesterday. Graps with the 199. Alexa Flair is the only 6-month feud outside of L.A.
Yeah, but 6-month feud. I mean, they've been together. I mean, they've been tag team partners. So it's not like they've been feuding for 6 months. Yusuf with a 499.
I'm sorry, I know I'm in the minority in liking Booker as an announcer, but him singing Joe Hendry's theme is the funniest thing I've seen in wrestling this year. Again, he knows when to be entertaining. You either like him or you don't. An acquired taste, and everybody likes the beer that I like. You're going to drink something a lot more mainstream. Booker T is different than everybody else. don't personally, I'm not a fan. I'm not going to sit here and shit on the fucking guy for doing it. Nobody realizes that commentary is difficult. It is very stressful. You got to be on all the time. To not make a mistake and trip up over what you're saying, it's tough.
You have voices in your ear?
Yeah. Wrestle Mess with the 14 months. The WON awards are on par with the Slammies when it comes to legitimacy. I agree. Lennon. We got 2 super chats here from Lennon. Solomonster, remember JD's promotion of the year?
I do. I reminded him of it just a little while ago.
And Kaiser Grande is way more over than Gable in AAA. I love it. I can't wait for it to be over, though. It's the same thing every week now. They're going to try and unmask themselves for the next 8 weeks.
Yeah, it's beyond the expiration date.
Bossmo Jackson with the 199 bullshit promotion of the year. WWE number 1 and AEW number 2. Broly with the 199. Penta about to face Dominic for the 6th time in a year. Yeah.
Maybe he'll actually win this time.
We'll see. Bossmo Jackson with the 199. Worst show in WWE. SmackDown is number 1. Absolutely. Havili with a 10. Favorite main events in February of 90. Brett versus Vader versus Austin versus Undertaker.
Of 90?
He says favorite
of
main
the
event
90s.
of the 90s. He said of the 90. I'm like, what the fuck is of the 90s? Of the 90s. Brett versus Vader versus Austin versus Taker. Triple H, The Outlaws, and Savio Vega versus Cactus Jack, Chainsaw Charlie.
I just watched that.
Owen and Austin. And Austin McMahon steel cage match.
The first one, the Final Four match.
Yeah, that was great.
That was a great match.
Yeah. I didn't, being that was mentioned, I watched that not too long ago. Maybe within the last 3 or 4 months I watched that.
Yeah, because it was probably uploaded on the Vault.
Yeah.
That's why I just watched the No Way Out match that he mentioned.
Yeah.
Which was great because Shawn Michaels was supposed to be in the match, but he had gotten injured in the casket match. So they had to come up with a replacement for him. And I remember watching that show live, and I'm like, ooh, who are they going to get? And then I remember, I mentioned Dragon Lee and the anti-pop before.
Yeah.
Well, before Dragon Lee, there was Savio Vega, who came out in that spot. And I think he might have wrestled on the show earlier that night. He was part of Los Boricuas. And I remember the reaction. It's just like, oh, this is so terrible.
God, man, that was a fucking vortex if I seen it too. Los Boricuas versus
DOA.
Oh my God.
And the Truth
Every
Commission.
fucking week, man. Jesus Christ. Bossmo Jackson, thank you, brother. Phil Illuminati with a $5 super chat. Punk and Rollins labeled as overrated is actual defamation at this point. Punk is not overrated. I think Punk is still doing great work. Rollins is an acquired taste. He's also, hot and cold. But I thought before he got hurt, he was doing very well. And obviously, you see how important he is to the Mania card because everything got changed. Pablo Montoya with a 999. What's up, guys? Who do you want to see winning a world championship for the first time this year? WWE had Priest and Gunther win the world titles back in 24 and Jay in 25. Who gets the shot at the top in 26? Oba or LA Knight? It's got to be LA Knight.
Well, I mean, I would love to see LA Knights. I would love to see Jacob Fatu at some point this year.
Yeah.
Get elevated to that spot. So I don't know why you wouldn't have him in that conversation.
Base Bears with a 2. Buy or sell, Collision or Velocity, Rampage or Heat?
Collision and Heat. If we're going back to the early days of Heat.
Yeah.
Because when Heat first debuted, it was a big deal.
Yeah, Collision, definitely buy on Collision. Rampage was actually, it started off great, and then it turned into absolute fucking trash. So I'm going to go Sunday Night Heat.
I think the best match I ever saw on Rampage, I don't know if it was the first ever episode of Rampage, but it was the match where Christian beat Kenny to win.
That was a good
TNA
one. Andrade
title.
and Pac had a great match, too.
Yeah.
Broly, as I lost you here because we have great support here tonight via the Super Chats. Thank you guys very much. Broly with the $4.99. Bunny Knight Javon versus Vision. Julia Io, Rhea Jade, Oba Lesnar, Lucha Brothers Usos. Thoughts? This version of Charlotte is awful. Put her on a tag rope.
I don't hate it. I'd probably spruce it up a little bit or change a few minor things, but I mean, it's not a bad card.
No. Lucha Brothers Usos need to happen. Oba Lesnar needs to happen for sure. Alex with a $5 super chat. Do you guys think there is any possibility Jericho asks Tony to keep his name on the active roster in order to keep his WWE return a real surprise? I thought that initially myself. At this point, I don't think Tony would ever do something like that. No. Walker Stubbs with a $9.99. If you two were in charge of WWE Creative, what would you do first? I would get rid of the women's tag team champions, and then I would put together the Lucha Brothers. Honestly, I don't know what Jason would do, but I'm merging the men's tag team divisions and fixing the tag team divisions.
Yeah, I mean the other things that you mentioned, I don't think I would do that first. It would probably it's almost like when you come into office and you're like you have like the first 100 things you want to do.
Yeah,
that wouldn't be at the top of my list. But I'm with you on the tag division. I mean, it's in real trouble. I would also, as quickly as possible, try to strengthen that women's division on SmackDown because it needs a lot of help. So Ruka, maybe a couple of other names to call up, and then just figure out where all the pieces go. Just address the areas that are of the most urgent concern on the shows. I mean, there's a lot of things that need to be addressed.
Captain Solo, a $5 super chat. Bad Bunny is the masked man. Logan Paul versus Bad Bunny at WrestleMania. Nick Khan is hoping, for sure. I don't think he's the masked man, though. Raekwon with an 8 months. The box opens and we get the reunion of Punkhausen on Raw. Great. We don't need any more comedy. We need WrestleMania.
So your idea is that you're going to have this comedic combo with him and Punk before Punk's WrestleMania match with Roman Reigns?
Oh, my God. Furious Nation of the 499. Around this time, 7 years ago, Bruce Pritchard came back to WWE and has been poisoned ever since. I believe Rhonda even called him a Vince McMahon clone. Yeah.
No, she called him Vince's avatar.
Yes.
Is what she called him.
And he still is. Caden with a 199. Prayers to Jada. She suffered a neck injury. Did she really? Oh, boy. I got to look up that after the show's over. That's terrible. Walker with a 1999. It's funny that WWE's not letting the local bars play WrestleMania because they want you to go to the event. Maybe if you lower the prices. Did you hear about the $40K ticket where you can meet Liv Morgan? $40,000 to meet Liv Morgan, man. Wow.
For $40,000, we better be going out to dinner and a movie. And fucking kidding me?
Holding my hand down the fucking Vegas Strip, something, man.
Fuck out of here with that.
Base Beers with the $2 super chat. Mercedes just texted me. She says, "Hi guys." Not for $99.99. No, thank you. King Kong Forever with a $7.99. Hi JD Solo. Wish you both the best. What did John Cena say to the Japanese chef? You can't sashimi.
Terrible.
No mas. Furious Nation with $9.99. I honestly believe Vince selling WWE to Endeavor was a big middle finger to Stephanie and Triple H. It didn't need to be sold and was fine the way it was with no Endeavor. It was never about a sale. I agree. I harped on that since the very beginning. Base Beers with the 2. You want heat? Have Roman cost Punk the title at the Elimination Chamber. That would make Roman a bigger geek than Sami Zayn this Friday. Why would he do that? Jedi Joke with a $5 super chat. I seen today Ronda Rousey has a MMA fight on Netflix in May. With WWE working with Netflix, do we see a WWE return?
No.
Nah.
Bruce is there. She doesn't want to work with Bruce.
Nah. Base Bears with the 2. And a GameCube used to cost $99. 2K is $150. Bro, for the elite version of 2K, that's like 1/3 of the way there for a PlayStation 5. Don't know why you would go and do that, but some people are crazy. Base Beers, thank you. Don Parker with a 5. The Shockmaster's coming out of the box. Book it, pal.
Well, shout out to the Shockmaster, actually, because he's been in the hospital recently.
Yes.
So I think he's doing a little bit better. So best wishes to Fred Ottman.
Dev Guy with a $9.99. Is Finn Balor really benefiting from the half-ass babyface turn tease? Love to JD and Solo. If they play it out at the Chamber, I think it's going to be great.
I mean, he's actually getting more focus and attention now than he did probably all of last year.
Yeah.
I don't know how long it's going to last, but I would say, yeah, he's in a better position at the moment than he was a year ago.
Right, Quan with a $4.99. The box opens during Punk versus Finn, and we get the epic reunion of Punkhausen to combat the Judgment Day. Fucking Christ, you guys. Furious Nation with a $4.99. Also with Javon Evans pinning Dominic last night on Raw. Do you see him getting an IC title match after the Chamber? Maybe Raw at Madison Square Garden. I think that's the title he should be going for when they build him up, yeah. I don't know if it's going to be Dominic. Base Beers with a 2. Who wins in a shoot? Skip Bayless or Don Lemon?
Don.
Yeah, I'm going to go Don. Alex with a $5 super chat. With the unfortunate annual post-WrestleMania roster cuts looming, what big name can you realistically expect to be released this year?
Big names? I mean, hopefully none.
War Raiders are going to be on the list.
It's not a big name, though.
Not a big name. And Don Parker will end with this. $5 super chat. The Nation of Domination is coming out of the box. Pal. TNT and OTS for life. Oh, we got another bomb in here. I'll make kind of mini bomb. $20 super chat. Adam Hernandez. Just got out of work. Did y'all discuss who challenges Jade at Mania? Free Britt Baker. Yes, we did. Timestamps will be included a little bit later. And Real Russ with a $5 super chat. What's up, guys? Thank you, Russ. That's all of them, man. They love us. They love us. They want to keep us here. Meanwhile,
it's nice to be loved.
I know. Thank you guys very much for a great stream. We had upwards towards 3,000 people in here on a Tuesday night. Guys are killing it lately. 50,000 views 2 weeks ago. 42,000 views last week. Probably going to end up being more of the same this week. Thank you guys very much. We got a big week. We got Dynamite tomorrow. Jason and I will be live. Friday, we will not be live for SmackDown. House of Glory in Queens, February 20th. So make sure you guys go and check that out. And please continue to support where you can. Thumbs up, comments. You guys know the deal. And I'm going to leave it with this guy to sound us off for another great Tuesday Night Titans with episode 135.
Well, I just wanted to point out, for those who may not have seen the story, that Cain Velasquez was released from prison on Sunday. If you remember that incident a few years ago, he went after somebody who he believed had molested his son. And he took it upon himself. It was like a car chase. He fired his gun into the other car. He did not hit the suspect. He hit the suspect's stepfather. And so he went to jail because at the end of the day, while I think you can understand his reaction, he shot an innocent person. So obviously when you do that, there are going to be consequences. But he could have gone to jail for the rest of his life. And a lot of people expected him to be put away for quite a while. But he got out a little earlier than expected. And as soon as he left the prison, his family was there. They had a mariachi band playing in the parking lot. And it was a whole little celebration there. Kane, of course, wrestled in WWE a number of years ago. He wrestled in AAA, too. He had some wrestling matches. Yep. I'm glad to see it. I think that whole story was just very tragic in many ways and horrible. And I hope that the person, if in fact they did what he believes that he did, meets his fate, Final Destination style. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Justice for Cain Velasquez. That's a beautiful tale that he's out, but man, he was doing the right thing in his mind, and I don't fault him for that. But shit happens, and just a terrible story, man. We got a lot of that nonsense going on in and around the news today. I can't stand reading any of that shit. So that's a good one, man. Thank you very much, you guys. Appreciate you all. We will see you back next week here on Tuesday Night Titans 136. I'm sure it'll be as great as it's always. So make sure you guys tune in next week. We will see you next Tuesday right here for episode 136. Again, House of Glory, February 20th this Friday, NYC Arena, Triller TV Plus. And Dynamite will be live tomorrow night with our respective reviews right here on YouTube. Thank you guys very much. We'll see you next week.